Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Valence League Division 3 finals here between Horizon Light and Deja Vu Academy. I am Samuel Initialize Hapgood, and I am joined, as ever on the Valence League, by my brother in arms and casting, Alexander Nymera Hapgood. It is good to be back and casting with you here, sir. We're out of jail after the last.
I was about to say this is a momentous occasion.
It is.
It's actually been a little while since Sam and I have cast together on VL. And we are so used to casting together, of course. And by this point, we're actually quite used to casting these teams too. Have a lot of familiar names to us. Of course, there are a lot of teams playing in the VL. We don't get to cover all of them at the same time, but it had to end this way, this split, because we had a certain cast a number of weeks ago, which may have gone off the rails a bit due to someone, the artist formerly known as Byron Miller, who, for reasons beyond my understanding, renamed himself to Sir Megaballs.
Well, originally he was Megaballs. He's been knighted since.
He's been knighted for somehow managing to depose
services to the crown, apparently.
Yeah, so we were put into Valence League jail after making too many Megaball jokes.
I was allowed to cast.
Yeah, well, there you see. I mean, but then I was let out on parole. Sam built a static shiv and static shivved someone in jail. So he's only been let out at this point. But we're back. We're here to cast the best of 5 finals of Division 3, and hopefully we won't be put into jail once more.
We'll find out. Hopefully it'll be after the series there, so you guys get the full cast before we're carted off to wherever they take Valence League casters who are too inappropriate. But alas, we're here. We have got Horizon Light, who will be taking on the blue side for the first match. They are as yet undefeated in matches, not in game score.
No, they are plus 14, 7.
They're just plus 14.
This is the thing, right? This is why this is a crazy series. If Deja Vu Academy take a single game off of Horizon Light, they will have besmirched their perfect record.
Well, I saw the 14-0 and thought, maybe they must be. And I was looking through the past matches and I thought I saw an L in there, and I wonder whether that must have been a mistype. Because that was what I was going like, surely not. And yeah, just 14.
7-0.
7-0, 14, yeah.
So says the tournament.
Indeed. So at that point, you assume... Because I was looking through it thinking, I'm sure they're undefeated, but then I saw that and I went, well, maybe not. So completely undefeated. This split. The other side, of course, is Deja Vu Academy, 6-1. Second place, not as undefeated. I believe they've got the +7 on that game score, and they've also made some fairly hefty roster shifts coming into the finals as well. Wilder back in for the jungle. Byron moving back down to the bot lane. Of course, I apologise to the Megaballs back down to that bot side. Autumn out for their coach, Ma 1996. Some seriously big shifts, but we are into picks and ban. We'll have to dissect that roster shuffle intrigue later on into this series. Tarek, Ivan banned away, and Vayne and Mordekaiser on the other.
Maybe they've caught wind of Deja Vu Academy practicing funnel. Those are both funnel champions to me. They're not necessarily tier list bans, and there are a number of other champions you could take away. These are the supportive, death ball kind of champions, which you can start getting towards the mid and late game, just take any given team fight, pretty much just win it. I was wondering if they were going to ban, if that was the idea, maybe they ban away something like a Sona too, or a Karma. They've gone towards the Victor instead of one of Vanarful. It's a huge one for Vanarful. But he is up against Jaded, so that's going to be a tough matchup in the mid lane.
So then, there's always that question, will Jaded pull out the Talon? He's a massive solo queue monster. We saw it finally in the finals the last time out, where just fell short when he was in. Of course, before that, though, it will be the first pick Shen for Sir Salty Sam. Of course, flexible. River Shen is a thing at the minute, but of course it's a big takeaway from Lucas Bangalter.
Yes, damn it, took my talking point. I'm like, wow, I'm going to cue myself to talk about
this one player. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm not actually that sorry because I like to feel smart.
Yeah. Well, heavens knows it's hard for you to do that.
I have a master's degree, thank you.
That's true.
I got a distinction in that, thank you.
Oh, lovely. Well, okay.
A piece of paper that tells me I'm smart.
I don't have one of those. What I do have is a draft in front of me.
You do.
And we do have a Zyra and Rakan locked in. It does seem like every season we start figuring out that Zyra Rakan's really strong. It's just everyone figures that out once again. However, Rakan is not an uncounterable champion. One of the counters to that champion is Leona. It doesn't matter how good you are on Rakan. Sometimes there are champions who stop you from doing what you want to do. If Leona catches you mid-W with the Zenith Blade, it stops you dead, it stops that dash, and it stops you from knocking up at the end of your location. When you've got an Ashe there, which can catch you out with the arrow, things go from bad to worse. Rakan from our 1996 and some Mega Balls will have to play very close to the line to make sure they get out, post level 6 to get out with their lives.
Of course, Leona Shen is a hell of a combo as well. Leona goes forward, Shen dashes on even further. the CC changes you can do with that duo are a little unreal. Go have a look back at, say, the LJL semi-finals, and you'll see a pretty great example of that from man called Ebby and another man named Gang. I recommend it at some point if you've got a bit of spare time on your side. Yeah, got a couple more bands coming through though right now. It's very much that jungle focus. Hecarim, very high up the tier list right now, taken away, as is the Jarvan. Wukong as well. Miffy is a big Wukong jungle player. Was a Volibear player as well in the jungle, but that's obviously gone down in priority a little.
I think Volibear is still pickable.
Yes.
But that being said, picking Volibear into Xayah, Rakan, Orianna does seem like a bit of a death sentence, because anyone who has to run at this team comp already with just these 3 picks in is going to find it quite hard to do so. This is why the Leona and Shen are very useful, because they can just stop them moving, stop them kiting back with their hard CC, and make things very, very difficult. And on that same note for Deja Vu Academy, they are just all inning on this style of play. Ornna's come in for the disengage potential of that Call of the Forge God. If you run into their team and you don't kill the Xayah and the Orianna, the turnaround is huge.
And of course, with the Rakan, even if in lane it's a bit rough versus Leona, if Rakan has the ball on top and he does manage to find the engage, is absolutely destructive.
And so I dub the Rakombo.
The Rakombo, indeed.
The Rakombo comes in nice. God. I remember back when I was playing a bit of competitive back in the Newell UK University League, and we tried practicing that comp. It was awful.
That is a Maokai locked in, where they already have the Shen, which means that's probably Miffy with the Shen. Jungle.
It could also be Maokai jungle. It's a double flex.
I mean, I suppose that's possible. I'm just aware that Shen jungle is a bit more flavour than that.
Yeah, so I do think that...
Oh, go on, Jaded. Make me a very happy caster.
Hey.
No, he goes towards the Fizz. Alright, that makes some sense.
Let's say Talon would be another really low-range assassin, which finds it really hard to get onto the team. At least the fish from Fizz, first off, it diversifies your damage portfolio. You get magic damage thrown in there in large amounts from the Fizz. You can kill someone like Ornn if the Ornn is itemized towards armor against the Shen and then has to go against the Fizz. And of course, if you catch the Orianna, they die horribly.
They do. I've played that matchup. It's one of the few champions in mid lane I do play. And Fizz can just be really irritating. The other thing is, of course, is Fizz's ult cooldown gets very, very low, and you can start throwing the fish out, kind of just hunting for an engage. You can just back off and wait 20 seconds, and it'll be back up again in time for a fight fairly swiftly. Last pick there was Pantheon. It's going towards the jungle for Wilder. Very aggressive, but it's a hell of an ultimate to join and match the Shen.
That's a big thing. And also, I think Pantheon wins at level 3 when you're fighting for Scuttles.
Yes, he will.
Okay, this is not a matchup which is well studied. We don't see it in pro play. And this means that probably the players have not seen a lot of pro examples to maybe pick up some of the nuances of this matchup. And we'll dive into this matchup a little bit more, because it's stuff like, of course, if Shen gets up the Spirit's Refuge before that if the Empowered W does come in from Pantheon, you just block all those auto attacks. This might be a Conqueror, it might be Pressed Attack. That's another thing we're going to have to zero into when we look into the runes too. So yeah, I'm looking to see how these jungles play this matchup. I
believe the Aegis Assault as well counts as autos, if I remember as well. I've not really played Pantheon, and I'm not sure on the exact specifics on that one. Might be worth a little bit of a double check.
This is the kind of thing which I have to load up Twitch chat for and see what happens.
Don't do our Twitch. If you happen to know, give us a heads up. We're trying to work out where this Shen Pantheon matchup will go, what the Spirit Refuge will actually block. Otherwise, we'll just find out in game. You'll learn with us.
So I have the I've done the dangerous thing of having Twitch chat open while I'm casting.
Oh no, disaster!
It's dangerous.
We can see you all now, and that's just not a good thing, right? Yeah. We have to pretend we're above you all, and with this, we kind of realize. Come on, man, we can't say that to Twitch chat. They get upset with us.
Yeah.
So
No, so yeah, of course, the important thing is, of course, Spirit's Refuge does block any of the auto attacks, and that includes. So one of the things is that if you go for Press the Attack Pantheon, if you jump in with an Empowered W. You immediately get 3 auto attacks afterwards, which means that in the elongated trades, you get the exposure damage through a lot of that. Also, with Conqueror, it means you get like 6 stacks immediately, because each melee auto attack gives you 2 stacks of Conqueror, and the ability damage of the W itself means you get up to 8 from 1 empowered ability. So your Conqueror on that champion is just really, really big.
Yeah, of course. Thanks again, Pyrotom, confirming what my Myra there is saying. It is indeed the W.
See, that's the bit I know. It's just the EVIT, which
So the question is whether
I'm fairly sure it doesn't count.
Okay. Okay, it was more of a question out there that I wasn't entirely sure on, so there you go. Probably me just being wrong is the honest answer, which is probably why I was asking.
That doesn't happen.
Please. I am a god of casting and therefore cannot be wrong. Officially infallible. He says that's going to get clipped and put out of context, but until this time, I'm going to hold to that, sarcasm aside. Okay, we've seen these rosters. We've seen the probably the playstyles front to back-ish from the side of Deja Vu Academy. A little bit more flanking opportunities from the side of Horizon Light. What are you thinking about these?
I'm thinking that if Fizz starts getting an advantage, he does have really good sideline matchups. I think he's going to push in, particularly if he gets to the point where Ornn is not itemized well to deal with him. And we talked about that a little bit. Once that starts happening, you get tower pressure, and then you can start flanking into fights. The question is, at that point, can Wilder and Mega Balls get into those sidelines and start disrupting the side lane plays? Because when you're opting into a 1-3-1, which is what Horizon Light do have, you need to balance the map well. You do have a Shen to help out there. You're also going to have a Leona roaming. So for me, actually, it's going to be about how the jungle and supports end up either disrupting or helping these sidelines.
I've also got to take that step back and say Deja Vu Academy have made some fairly significant roster shifts coming in here. We said their coach, Mar 1996, is in for autumn in that bot lane. Mega Balls down into the bot lane from the jungle. Wilder back in the jungle. That could affect synergy. It's a big shift. Obviously, the last time these two teams matched up, it didn't go well for Deja Vu Academy. So this is kind of like an attempt to find some new synergies, to find some new routes into beating this team who have just been so damn good this time out. To have that conversation a bit further, cut to a quick break. When we come back from this awesome video, you'll see a little more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that whetted your appetite for this particular match. We've got our first game coming up so very, very shortly. It'll be an interesting one to dissect for sure. Of course, kind of raised my... I'm calling them concerns because, it is a big thing when you shuffle a player down, you remove a player, you bring in somebody new. Like, that's 3 players effectively, or 2 new players, one in a different role. It's only Van Offel and Lucas Bangholt who reprise their positions at the very least. Is this something that you think Deja Vu Academy needed to do? Is it going to hurt them? Is it going to help them? Or is it just a little bit of we just don't know?
We don't have... Well, I mean, I've not looked at the scrims. I've not sat in any of them. That's not something which I do in the Balance League. I've played some of the in-houses when the Spirit Blossom event and Nexus flips around, but that's not nearly the same kind of thing. I think it's important that, of course, the coach knows the atmosphere and knows the players, so at least he knows the tendencies of what's happening. But that doesn't mean that he's had that on-the-rift experience with this group of players, and that, of course, might change things quite a lot. Was it necessary? Maybe not. But then you have to consider that they lost 0-2 to Horizon Light, who have beaten everyone 2-0. Is this just the Hail Mary to say, look, okay, we don't think we beat you in our orthodox lineup, let's see if we can do something different, and at least you don't have that same experience of playing versus this group of players in this kind of iteration, and maybe they're just hoping for that to come through.
I mean, my eyes will be on Wilder, of course, who is a Division 2 champion. Which we were talking with John Joe just before the stream as well, asking for a little bit more information on the guy, and he was saying, this guy's playing from America, playing from NA. Like, that's a hefty ping to be playing with in some ways, but, he, despite that, he's managed to find his way up to gold. He's still won Division 2 and stuff. So, like, impressive stuff from this guy who could definitely be acting as something of a ringer.
He absolutely could too. Not sure that's the word I'd use. That has some negative connotations of cheating and all that stuff going on.
I was going to say. He's within ELO restrictions, guys. He's not.
Wow, it turns out this guy is someone completely different. Okay, right. I believe we are ready to count down into game. Paused at that 10-second mark. So, Blaze, whenever you're ready, please count us in. I say that, and he's not unmuted himself, and I have no idea what's happening. This is great!
It's gonna be fun. We're just here. We're just chilling. We're staring at the fountain. We're staring at Deja Vu Academy right now. Is who we're staring at over on our end. We'll find out where this goes. We're just gonna keep chatting, really. It's what we do. Kind of like our job.
Yeah, imagine, talking about stuff.
Please, really?
Okay, anyway, I believe we are now synced up and ready. So sorry for that. Bear with us. No bear on this rift, though.
There's no bear behind
So
us.
I
want a bear in the flat, thank you. That's awful.
No bear on the rift either. Of course, Volibear was a huge pick for Deja Vu Academy. This split with Mega Balls being in the jungle. He does have himself another initiating role with this Rakan, though. Yeah. So maybe this is just putting him on something of a similar role for their team, so they aren't so upset in terms of what they're trying to do in these team fights. But it's still very, very different than playing that Volibear in the jungle.
I mean, this also, you gotta remember that Mega Balls was very much tank jungler. That's what he played, was even when he was playing something at the Volibear. It wasn't Trinity Pools, it wasn't anything like that. It was always straight full tank. Stoneplay. Who needs dead? He didn't even go diamond, he just go straight Stoneplay.
Which I hate, by the way. Don't build Stoneplay first on Volibear jungle.
Take it up with Mega Balls. But you know, Wilder is going to be playing a significantly more aggressive champion, was where I was going to try and hit the conversation too. Is actually Mega Balls finds the grand entrance there onto Clifton Gazium. The W start gets a lot of work done onto Clifton Gazium, and that's a bit rough.
Why is Xayah Rakan strong at level 1? Well, Xayah has this W passive where if she lands an auto attack onto a champion, she gets extra movement speed, and that's also on top of the extra damage and attack speed that you get on that W ability. Rakan also procs that ability when it's activated within range of Xayah. What that means is that if Rakan procs that, he also gets the movement speed. He also gives Xayah the movement speed. Both of them get the attack speed. It means your level 1 trades when you start with the Grand Entrance 2 allow you to do what just happened to Leona there, which means he's now back coming late to lane.
That will absolutely give Mar 1996 and Mega Balls the level 2 advantage off the shove. That's a fairly hefty trade, actually, for goes on the Orianna at level 1.
That's a playful trickster electrocute trade at level 1. That should not happen. Vanoffel took an unfortunate step forwards. It means the extra auto attack comes in, electrocute comes down, and it's traded for pretty much nothing. Of course, they both have corrupting pot, have a bit more of that sustain, and there will be time warp tonic onto Vanoffel's Orianna too, so nothing really to be worried about right now, but come to level 2, level 3 might lead to an Ignite trade all in by Jaded.
Gotta keep our eyes on that, of course. Jaded is a talent player. He knows all about Ignite level 2 all in on a particular champion or two. See how his assassin play matches up here on the Fizz. Vanoffel, of course, running the corrupting pot, has got biscuits. It's not going to be too low on a health bar, but you don't want to have to burn the pot that early in lane on kind of a silly mistake.
And actually, this is really awkward too. So Vanoffel, I think, in his haste to try and trade back, command attacked through the wave, and as you can see now, the wave is now at Jaded's turret. He gets to freeze this, pretty much add an item if he wants to, has auto attack reset on that W, the Sea Stone Trident. Oh, actually, he's going to end up pushing it back out, but it's just really awkward because it means he can just run people down like this.
Vanoffel takes so much damage. The phase rush gets him out, but he's burning through biscuits and corrupting pots galore. Mithy was around, but wasn't quite in range to go for the Taunt Flash. Shadow Dash, not quite that long a range, despite the extension you can bring to it.
Really good discipline, though, from Jaded not to just go in with the Ignite. Oh, level 2 to level 3. Wild.
No! He stole it! Wilder's in so much trouble now. That Tariq gets to Shadow Dash away. Cliff walks up. It'll be Scuttle Crab as well, and I'm watching Chimera next to me with his head in his hands. He is so disappointed.
Oh man, he's fallen behind in farm. He hasn't had that same clear speed, and it means that now it's gone from bad to worse. Misses the smite, had the lower smite value anyway, being at level 2. As we were saying, things are just kind of awkward now in this jungle matchup.
That is massive. And we might just be a touch off sync.
For time traveling. It's the problem with casters.
Exactly. We have such incredible magical powers. Such magical powers that you would not believe that we can affect the fabric of space and time.
That's so besides just being able to talk good,
yes, exactly. That's something else we have. Like talking good is like the level 1 power. The level 2 power is if you cast for long enough, you do begin to be able to affect space and time.
Okay. Well, hopefully, I just pause for like a second or two. Maybe we're okay.
Blaze as well has been keeping an eye on it. Thanks again, British Blaze has been doing some work to keep this stream working, but that will be the teleport in behind. Wilder here as well. The flash will not get Jaded out, and now he's in trouble with the Aegis Assault coming through, trying to get behind. Still getting the autos down. The bleed will not be enough, and here comes on with the double knock-up from the Searing Charge. Sir Salty Sam needs to run away. Mithy flashes in for a kill onto Vanoffel. The autos from Wilder not quite enough, and now he's in trouble, falls down to the turret. The flash for the Bellows Breath will get another one, but that is a 3 for 2. What on earth was that?
that was the VL special. We've got an all-in and bot lane now.
Oh, big root in the flash forward. My 1996 does get that kill, and you're gonna point like it's 99, never mind 96, and that will be a 2v2 kill on the bot side for the side of Deja Vu Academy, all square in the kill department.
Everyone on Deja Vu Academy gets involved in one kill or other. In fact, it is literally just Clifton for the side of Horizon Light, which has 0 kill participation so far in this game. 3 for 3, left at even gold. Let's see where the gold's been distributed. It does look like a lot, of course, went over to Salty Sam. That tanky Maokai on the top side getting accelerated in this first game.
The bit that's really concerning me, though, is it's about a 500 gold each. This Shen in the jungle versus a Pantheon. You cannot allow that to happen. Pantheon needs to be getting things done early. At least got a couple of assists, but the fact that wasn't clean, that it went 3 for 2 in mid lane, is not what you want to see for Wilder.
Exactly, and now Wilder is 2 levels down. Mithy on this next full clear will get to level 6, and at that point, doesn't matter if you're predatoring into ganks, Shen can answer very, very quickly with his ultimate. There's a fight in top lane.
Wilder's coming up here, had the movement speed in the river. That is a big stun, but Salty Sam trying to get back. Gets the knockback with the Bramble Smash under tower and will be safe. Just not enough tankiness on this Horn to be able to risk anything more, and no flashes, of course. You couldn't really go into that tower and get out again safely. And while that's been going on, would you look at that? It's an Ocean Drake start on the side of Horizon Light.
First dragon taken early by Horizon Light is that Ocean. We're left with an Infernal second, meaning it will be mounted or Cloud on the Rift to determine what Soul of Dragon it will be in this game 1. If it's Mountain, that is very, very unfortunate for Deja Vu Academy. If they give up 2 dragons and then there are Mountain dragons on the table, that means that Maokai, Shen, and Leona are going to become nigh unkillable in the mid and late game team fights.
You can see at the top of the mini-map that Wilder and Bang Alta are currently kind of keeping their eyes together. Level 6 is now hitting the mid lane. Jaded becomes that much more of a threat. It's about 300 gold lead that separates these two squads. Not a lot to write home about, but it's been a very back and forth early game. The thing that's concerning me, though, is that Mithy ain't that far away from level 6, and he's up in the jungle, and that is a bigger lead than the gold lead would kind of give impression.
Okay, so where's the next play coming? Where's the next thing coming in? We will have the Stand United available very, very shortly. So that makes me think maybe it's in this bot lane. You saw the flash from Xayah to chase down that kill. That's great. But now that means you have to play respectfully if you are pushing up. It's great to have lane pressure. You have the BF sword, the double long sword advantage. But if Mithy is coming in on top of a flash Leona, that's not something you can disengage easily. You don't have that ultimate available from Xayah either right now. We'll actually have to see if that comes in. And this is exactly what's happening.
Here we go. It's going to come straight forward. Mega Balls has got himself a fish on top of him. And Chum the Waters chums Mega Balls. And he is down for the count. Jaded, though, taken very, very low. That's the Shen ult that came through. And I'm not sure you needed the Stand United there. Either way, Jaded gets back out with a little extra caution than was perhaps required.
So Mithy didn't have the ult at the very start of that play, so okay, alright, there was just the timing a little bit messed up there. But you can see it's the level 6 just coming in for Ashe. If you try and make that play 30 seconds later, you have the Xayah with the ult available, and things get a lot more difficult to pull off. It did have to be the cleanse blown from 1996, and they're already suffering in lane, down about 20 CS, but a kill picked up and more kill participation for the entirety of Horizon Light will be something that they're very happy with right now.
Well, you can see though that while that has now started up, that Rift Herald Mithy will be walking over, but it will be a 4v2, as you can see Jade is around as well, but I think wisely the Shen is still hovering, but doesn't go any closer. He's walking over the ball though, that was perhaps a touch risky. Mega Ball's grand entrance is to make a grand exit, and the rest of Deja Vu Academy will find their way back to base. Perhaps not, as Wilder and Bang Alta actually think about shoving this wave out on the top side.
They do have the Herald, and this wave was pushing in anyway. But the bot lane of Horizon Light have already rotated up. They're not going to place it. Wilder holding onto that objective in the trinket slot. Now we have Salty Sam against the Xayah, and I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think Xayah wants to take a fight against that armor built up already onto the Mako, who we already said has quite a lot of gold.
Chain Vest and levels mean that is not a particularly pleasant experience for Xayah. Of course, Mega Balls is still around, so it will be a 1v2, but I just think that with the Nature's Grasp available, that Maokai just much unkillable, especially with Sap Magic there as well. No, actually going in, he just gets a Bramble Smash under tower. Of course, Mega Balls hadn't taken tower aggro at that point. About half the HP bar of Salty Sam gone. But remember, this is Maokai. He does heal up very, very fast.
To kind of a bit awkward there from Salty Sam, because Marco is really hard to dive, but if you lose half your HP, it does make it achievable as opposed to, okay, we can't do this. As you see on the other side, Lucas on the Ornn, still relatively healthy, has the Call of the Forge God, and now Salty Sam, of course, has used that Sword Magic. This is mid lane where they're fighting.
Lands, and Van Offel has to just flash away, cannot afford to stick around, especially with Leona and Shen coming around as well. That will be 3 plates, not quite for that 4th fumble still stays standing, but Jaded don't actually have that much in the way of HP discrepancy there. So Van Offel flash blown, but still in lane, which I'm sure he's grateful for. But I'm seeing a lot of those fish land from this Fizz early on in the game.
Done. And this is one of the things people forget about what is effectively a lane swap. I mean, it is a lane swap, right? It's not one of the start the game lane swap, you've gone into different lanes and you're trying to do this weird jungle pathing thing. But in mid lane, you normally assume that you are left a bit on an island as opposed to top lane in a regular lane state. But it does mean that the support and the jungle are kind of free to roam to your lane if you feel like your top and AD carries are safe in their side lanes. So Salty Sam, fine on the bot side, and we saw that upcoming Uzi doing more than fine picking up more CS in that top lane too. It means that they do get the flash kind of for free from Van Offel, who was pushed out from out of turret. Not quite understanding where people were across the map, but at least he doesn't die.
Wilder now has level 6 as well, which is great news for him, and it might be just about in time as we are seeing about 15 seconds until this next Drake spawn, but Van Offel very low on mana, and actually Jaded gets in on top of the Pantheon, goes down, they wanted to set up, they were too late. Van Offel, no mana, has to burn the cleanse. Lucas Bang Ultra has teleported in, but he is now in a 5 versus 3, I apologize, as there was the bot lane there still available, but you see Van Offel, no teleport, no mana, no hellfire, has to back away, and Deja Vu Academy, you can't still be here. You've got no jungler, there's no smite. There is, of course, the Grand Starfall that could come through, but it's just not going to be in time. Second Drake secured by Horizon Light, and a Zenith Blade across the wall coming in. Megaballs goes back.
No, he misses it!
And he misses it, but now the damage coming through. Mithy, so very low. Megaballs cannot survive, will fall down. Mithy flashes out, gets out as well. The Spirit's Refuge coming down. Lucas Bang Alter taking a lot of damage, flashes back over the wall, but in the backside you can see a little bit more damage. Wilder in the 1 versus 3 below the wall goes down to upcoming Uzi, who has none of his namesakes issues in the risk department. Managed to get another kill. Upcoming Uzi gets a 3rd for himself. He is now 3-1 and 3. What a mess. You can see Ma at least picked up another kill there, and a couple people died, but massive win for Horizon Light.
It is. They get the dragon, which is that the second dragon spawn at the Infernal Dragon. We are left with a Cloud Rift. And of course, it is not just that, it's not just the objective. They force Van Offel back, they kill Wilder, and that means they take the uneven numbers fight, or at least actually, well, of course, with that Zenith's Blade landing across the wall, and then Deja Vu Academy are just not in a position to win the more elongated fight, even though they did have Call of the Forge God, even though they did have Wilder rejoining with the Grand Starfall. It got a little bit messy, so Salty Sam did end up falling on the Maokai, but Jaded finding his way into the backline even without the Chum the Waters and forcing out the Xayah ult and then having Shen come in right on top of her meant that 1996 couldn't really damage the backline of Horizon Light as much as they wanted to.
Okay, so you saw the attempt, you saw the idea, but it was a bit disconnected. The resets were a little late. Orianna, low on mana before that fight. 1 QW was enough to drain her of those resources. Sort of see that the gold lead that was relatively close is now beginning to significantly expand for Horizon Light. They're up about 2,000. Their Ashe is very far ahead in this game right now. The taunt did miss. Wilder will get to walk away with Pantheon's base move speed a little faster than most champions. Gets another bit of damage down on this bot side. That'll be another plate down there. And the Ornn, relatively tanky, don't get me wrong. Has himself a Bramble Vest, which is great news versus an Ashe and the like, but it's starting to look a little scary, and the arrow lands, no clans, the solar flares down as well. Zenith Blade comes through, and Mithy just walks up to see his bot lane get the 2v2 kill. Now, Megaball's got the Chum the Waters on him. Jaden will not go over the wall, though, and now Megaballs is in a 1v1 with Mithy, who's going to try and run him down, but that is a Rakan who's relatively mobile. A long-winded kill if it's going to come through.
Keeps running, he will have a grand entrance sooner or later, but he's just buying time at this point. He actually lands it onto Fizz, but it looks like he's going to keep going forwards.
Playful Trickster does come through, and actually he's trying to get out. I think he managed to get...
Why are you showing his bot lane?
Battle Dance out to the rest... to the Pantheon to escape, and as a result, Megaball survives. That failed Playful Trickster could have been problematic, but now Mithy finds a Shadow Dance over the wall. Now Wilder in trouble. Aegis Assault is an assault on him, and he falls down for the 4th death this game. on the Pantheon. 11-5 now is the kill score, and the snowball just keeps rolling.
Deja Vu are not really respecting where the enemy could be, even when they do have numbers grouped around a certain area of the map. Oh yeah, okay, so Benotful knows that he's in top lane, and his support and jungle are heading up there, but it's not quick enough to stop the engage coming in from the duo lane of Horizon Light. So he falls down. It means that the rotating members of Deja Vu Academy have wasted their time, because then they can't take that fight after the mid laner has fallen. And then we see a number of similar plays coming out from multiple members of Deja Vu Academy, and they're left at a 4,000 gold deficit at 15 minutes.
That is massive at 15 as well. You're normally saying like 2k is a big advantage at 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, I would say, like, 3k is significant. 4k is good. It's very good.
And we've now got to start asking the questions, what can Deja Vu Academy do to find their way back into the game as the mid lane turret falls as well to balloon the gold lead even further? And at what point is this game just out of reach?
So the thing about the composition of Deja Vu Academy, and actually there's an engagement in mid lane.
Going forward, he gets onto Leona, but she's got Eclipse. He's taken not all that much damage. That wasn't a bad call of the Forge God, but Mithy's got himself up a Spirit's Refuge. The arrow turnaround means Wilder falls down again, and that was a little desperate.
It's desperate, and you know what you're saying, what they can do to get back into the game? Exactly the opposite of that, actually. They need to hope that Horizon Light fluff and engage. It's only a Cloud Rift. You don't have to worry about Soul that much. You can just give up a lot of these dragons. Maybe the Barons you can try and fight around in a bit of a different way. What you're hoping is that Horizon Light, they start throwing everything onto Lucas as opposed to Wilder, who's fallen down quite a lot, or someone else that's a bit more squishy, and then you just play the counter engage. You go for a big shockwave, go for a big pull the Forge God.
They've got great counter engage as well, right?
Exactly, they do, and that is the absolute hallmark of their comp. They knew that from the first 3 picks that were locked in, and then they continued that up with the likes of the Ornn coming in later. They haven't played to that completely so far, and now with this deficit, it is quite hard to land these kind of kiting team fights, because even Xayah needs to blow everything in such an inopportune way that they don't really get the damage out they need.
I suppose the silver lining they have is a Cloud Rift, not the Mountain Rift, but
yeah,
it's a bit of a tarnished silver lining. You know, they're still down 2 Drakes. It's not much of a silver lining as they lose their 3rd. And it's not just the gold that's going the wrong way as the Solar Flare comes through. We'll talk about this a little later. Nature's Grasp doesn't go through, but the Playful Trickster and a Taunt, and, of course, the Bramble Smash will secure a kill for Jaded. 2-1 and 4 on the Fizz with the Proto Belt secured in. That is an Age of Salt in time, but it's not going to be enough. The Zenith Blade takes Leona very, very deep. She's still going to keep going. Shield of Daybreak finds more flash over the wall from upcoming Uzi. Gets another kill. Rakan falls down to the Maokai as well, and it is now Van Awful and Mar 1996 against the world. We have a feeling that Windows 96 is becoming obsolete rather fast.
Yeah, it's looking like Deja Vu, a bit more on the Vista system.
Another few bugs to work out.
Yeah, no, I think that it's a sad game when a four-man Shockwave doesn't win you a team.
Yeah.
You'd already lost. Your Ornn didn't have to call the Forge God anyway. And this was a fight over a Cloud Dragon. I get that it's Soul Point. I get that you don't really want more Ash Arrows and more Fizz ultimates coming through, because of course that ultimate cooldown reduction does work out very nicely for Horizon Light, but it's not something to lose the game over. You're not well ready to fight right now, and if you are moving forwards in these team fights looking for picks as Deja Vu Academy, you are completely at risk of getting hit by the massed CC of Horizon Light. It happened exactly how we described it in that team fight. They cannot try and take these split fights. They need to fight on their terms, and that is exactly what Horizon Light have not given them so far.
Look, I mean, the big discrepancy was Orianna hadn't even completed the night at the time of that fight. She had lost chapters in tier. She's now finally got herself an Archangel Staff, but that is a long way off a Seraph. That Orianna Shockwave didn't do any damage because she had no items. And like on the other side, it's 2 items to 1 on the bot side. It's 2 items in the jungle to 1, and that this Pantheon supposed to snowball hasn't. The locket for this Shen is pretty damn huge versus the likes of Orianna, especially when you are already on a limited damage budget, as this Orianna will see a shield vault through onto Mithy, but he's got another Shadow Dash, just gets out over the wall, and it's going to be another 15 minutes, frankly, before we're seeing serious damage come through for Deja Vu Academy.
It will be, and this is also the high damage crit Ash build with a front line which is outperforming the enemy teams right now. Whereas the backline access from Deja Vu Academy, it's something like a Miracle Shockwave into a lot of feathers coming through from Xayah. That is just not going to happen, because if the champions responsible for that, the Orianna and the Xayah, are in range for that, it's a very close ult from Fizz, but does not land. If they're in range to land those kind of abilities, they're also in range for Fizz to absolutely nuke them with his own gold lead. So I think that Ashe will be outperforming in terms of the larger look at these team fights because she just kills this front line so quickly.
You know, we talked about it in draft. We talked about it in pregame. We said Deja Vu Academy have opted into not just counter engage but front to back. And at the minute, they can't get through the front to get to the back. It's in the name of the team style, and it is a problem right now. Yeah, the Zaya's got 2 kills. That's great news. But she is down that item. She is down the 40 CS as well, which is fairly significant here at 20 minutes as well. And see, like, even in just the top lane wet noodle fight, Bang also definitely coming out worse for wear in that one. Again, no completed item for Bjorn yet. He's very much got the bargain bin sale that he's gone down to the local flea market and hope that something there is useful. Take a little while before they are useful. Actually, forcing out a little bit of damage. You can see Wild is going to come up, but I just don't think they have anything resembling the damage required to take down this Maokai, who did throughout the Nature's Grasp there, I suppose. As the one consolation prize is here comes Mithy.
Ow.
Wilder takes a lot of damage. That will be a twisted event. It'll be a stopwatch blown, and they'll back away, not feeling about going any deeper. And they'll be quite happy having blown that stopwatch, honestly, for very little there.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing which is really shown through for me about Horizon Light this game is discipline. Right? They're not doing anything stupid. They're not going for the fights which might lose them the game. They know they're playing into a team comp, as we have described, which does punish overdives and scuffed engages very well. That is the hallmark of their composition. You also saw that with Jaded early in the lane with Fizz. A lot of Fizz, Yasuo, LeBlanc, Assassin players sometimes overcommit for that first kill. They die and then they're forever on the back foot. What Jaded did was he went for hard trades, but never overstepped that. Now we have a big fight in this river coming up.
Wilder going in, but there's still a number of people around. Cliff taken low, but the Eclipse isn't going to be enough. Neither was the Stand United. That is a pick. It's now a 5 versus 4. They burned a number of ultimates. Shen ult down. Fizz ult down, of course, that is on a very low cooldown, already about a third of the way completed. Still 20 seconds on this Cloud Drake, and that will be time for Cliff to respawn. Depending on how fast Deja Vu Academy do for this Drake, may offer the opportunity for Leona to rejoin the fray.
Maybe, but this is also with 2 big ultimates used from Deja Vu Academy for 1 pick. You still have the Ashe alive, you still have the Fizz ult. Oh no, Fizz ult is actually down as well. So we have to see how Horizon Light approach this situation. Do they want to fight for this soul? Are they going to go for the fight over the dragon itself? And actually, Deja Vu Academy do not feel confident enough to even walk up to this dragon.
Because Fizz ult may have been used, but guess what? It's straight back up again with the Cloud Drake.
Has
and
40%
of course,
CDR.
40% CDR and level 11 means that ult is on pretty much nothing. That is a flash! 3-man taunt! My voice goes wild as Mithy finds a fabulous engage. Lucas Bang also now flashing out, but Jaded on a killing spree. And the whole team has basically turned into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or perhaps with Fizz on the rift, we should call it Jaws. You're going to need a bigger boat, Deja Vu Academy, because that one's got holes in.
It does. It's sinking. It's hitting rock bottom. It is weighed down by an 8,000 gold deficit. But they wish they were cutting that back to shore, but they are not. They're going to end up on the reef beds at some point. This is going to be a Cloud Soul, and it's going to be the Baron 2 falling to Horizon Light.
That is quite the effect when Jaded does damage to the Baron there. Like, well, look at that rainbow shimmer.
Baron Pride.
Baron Pride, absolutely. That will, however, be the Baron secured for Horizon Light. That is Cloud Soul secured. And that is near enough an insurmountable gold lead. After they take this one, they move up to near enough 10,000 gold in the lead. Deja Vu Academy, you have got to pull out a miracle, or this is a Game 1 loss in this best of 5 series.
And again, this was a fight where Shockwave did land onto upcoming easy. It did do kind of what it was supposed to do. But the damage isn't there. And these are still not the kind of fights which you really want from Deja Vu Academy. Getting the pick onto Cliff and Gazium was good. It was one of those rare times we have seen in this game where Horizon Light haven't quite done their due diligence. Quite spot Wilder stood in that pixel brush, managed to find his way behind enemy lines. 1 in 7 is still his KDA, but he gets the CC down, and that was enough to secure that kill, the first kill of the game, onto Cliff and Gazium. It's just not enough to buy them enough of an advantage in even a 5v4 situation, and that is very telling of how this game's gone.
Magi's in Fizz as well is some spicy stuff.
I know. I know that. I mean, Jade and I would talk a bit. You know, he's got me involved in a pyramid scheme.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. I know.
That sounds great. Can I get involved?
Yeah. Well, there's this one club called Naded, which you can see the club tag there, and I've been told that it makes you win 10% more solo queue games and makes you more attractive. like 50% more attractive. Unfortunately, in my case, 50% more than 0 is still 0. But
you're in the negatives, it's just gotten worse.
It's actually been a complete debuff. But speaking of Jaded, his picks. I know that he knows that we cast the LGL, and we do love our anime references. But I didn't really expect him to be doing the whole Death Note thing this series.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least name change to Kira or something, dude. Don't just do this to us, man. He's been looking for far too many autographs this game. Looking to find a few more. Levels! Zaya, no cleanse, no hope as she falls down. And that was just beautiful.
Oh, holy fuck, that was satisfying to watch. That is a dead AD carry, 2-1 and 2. First death of the game for the Zaya. And it comes at pretty much the death push now coming in from Horizon Light. Ouch.
They are undefeated for a reason, and the roster shuffles for Deja Vu Academy don't seem to have worked out. I think they've been in this place before versus Horizon Light, and they are not enjoying the reprisal. That Shockwave does half the health bar of upcoming Uzi, who cleanses there, perhaps a little gratuitously, but nothing else comes through. And Wilder stays the same from basically the flash in from Leona. I'll have to talk about this later because it's another engage in behind the Age of Salt one more time, and Cliff gets the kill onto the Pantheon. That was a call of the Forge God and a decent engage, but Van Offel gets a hold of the Leona. That's a good news, but a double for the Leona despite that, as I believe Ignite secured the kill. Van Alter gets that one. The playful Trickster will not secure the kill. That flashes in. It's a double for the Ashe. Goodbye, sweet Magi stacks. We knew thee well, but instead the full ace. 3 members still alive. Baron buff and an AD carry will mean they will look to end this game. Horizon Light will look to go up 1-0 over Stage of Academy in dominating fashion.
They're just finishing off the towers. Pantheon ulting in. Trying to get himself up to that 1-9 KDA power spike. Not quite. You see, that's the problem. Didn't reach the 10th power spike. Wilder, unfortunately, his debut game on this roster has ended in the loss. 1-0 to Horizon Light.
Have to wait for the release of Wilder Rift before he's truly able to carry this one. But alas, we'll see the final Chalice buys there from Fizz, who was so upset at the loss of his stacks.
He's just this round's on him. He's just buying the drinks.
But the cast is better be involved in that, buddy.
Yeah, well,
words afterwards.
There are 6. I mean, if he just gives up his own, I mean, he hasn't got 7. He could have got 1 for each of his team members, and then 1 for us each. Yeah. I'm actually kind of upset about it. Get yourself. Come on, James. Why don't you have another chalice?
I know you can only carry 6, but that's very disappointing.
Maybe he's just going back to the bar for his own.
Maybe. True. All right, well, let's have a look in on some of these damage numbers and see where we're at in that game. Obviously, we're expecting fairly heavy discrepancies, and what do you know it? Upcoming Uzi, trying to live up to his namesake very heavily there, very much the highest damage in the game this time out.
Exactly, and now we are left with a number of thoughts, a number of thought processes needing to be done by Deja Vu Academy of, okay, what do we let Horizon Light have next time? Because, there is something to be said about banning what you thought was important in that last game, particularly for something that was well practiced. Do you ban away the Shen? You can take blue side, maybe that's the first pick option.
Yeah, I mean, that is a massive pick for Lucas Van Alter. He is a massive Shen player. It's what they've defaulted to a lot in the regular split, so I'm kind of there with you. I also think that the Pantheon pick didn't really work out this time out. Part of that was the early skirmishes kind of going a little awry. Part of it was things like the blue buff steal when Pantheon was level 2 really hurt the tempo on Pantheon, who wants to be getting to level 3 and moving as fast as he can. But maybe that will be an option too.
Maybe that will be. Either way, there's going to have to be some mental resets.
Indeed.
And a bit of a break taken for us too. Go get ourselves a refill on those drinks. We'll be back with game 2 after this break.
See you in a minute.
The day here on to Mithy, but here comes the response. Pop Blossom over the wall from Jaded. Teleport coming in as well. That'll be Lil Cloud joining the fight. Mithy actually going really low. Might go down and does. But Cliff is on a killing spree. Lucas into the backside, delaying the fight pretty significantly. This isn't too bad for Deja Vu. Vanoffel only just arriving though, and that's such a significant portion of their damage out. Lucas is deep into the fight. Mithy actually going down early, but here comes Jaded. Pop Blossom goes down. That's 1 more kill for the Nico. Another one going to be taken down by the Blooming Burst. The hook comes back in. That brings both the remaining members of Deja Vu in this fight back into the fight. We are will be taken away by the showstopper. Meanwhile, Mithy is doing all kinds of damage. Upcoming Uzi untouched in this fight as well. Autumn's dead. Banoffel is the only one remaining, condemned into the wall, taken down. It's a double kill for Lil Cloud.
Gonna be popped, but the trap does stop him. Oh, the two-man ends up, and the Shen comes in. That means they're just gonna burst down 3 players from PW. They're just
Or in range for a combo, but in range is
Oh,
Maokai.
flash! Lucas splashes in to get the Nature's Grasp onto the Volibear, who's out of position. He doesn't quite reach over the wall with his ulti, but has to flash over. Anyways, Nocturne does go in to try and kill Z-Man, but it isn't enough. Z-Man's just sitting back using the Archer's Focus to try and get as much damage as possible. He flashes in to try and get the slow eat. Sivir ulti is dropped along with the Stand United. The 3-man flash on! The Titanic hyper damage is huge onto the backline. The Victor and Caitlyn are just running away from the Shen, but it does look like that the Remu and the Caitlyn are going to be dropped.
The last time these two teams faced one another, Horizon Light managed to beat Deja Vu Academy 2-0. Now Deja Vu Academy are looking to get their revenge and defeat Horizon Light in the finals for that all-important promotion to Division 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Valence League Split 3 Division Finals.
That was the second best shark movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
After the Megalodon. No, that was awful. That's the worst one I've ever seen.
After Jaded's Fizz.
That's the
what
one,
it
yeah.
was.
Cool.
Who needs talent when you can have Fizz in the game? And obviously, actually, really, let's be real, it was a lot of great work out of the likes of upcoming Uzis, Ash, and supporting cast from the Leona and Mythies. They're actually very impressive on the engages, but that made less of an entertaining engage.
That Ash and Mega Balls. What a game.
Okay, well, with that one, you're banned again, but we tried so hard to avoid intro puns around that, but here we are.
We tried so hard and didn't get very far.
No. Neither did it felt like a lot of Deja Vu Academy in that last game, getting run down pretty early on in that game. They'll be hoping this second time out to have a little bit more of a competitive early and mid game. They are onto the blue side this time around. There are, as far as we can see, no roster shifts. Means it'll be one more time into the matchup with little else to be seen here, and we are onto picks and bans.
Yeah, okay, so blue side for Deja Vu. Let me turn around my postcard. Yeah, nice. I can be all organized and stuff. I am more than expecting a Shen ban from Horizon Light or a first pick.
Yeah.
I think that Mythy was very impactful on that Shen. He out early gamed the Pantheon, which, as we said, didn't really work out for Wilder. Had that buff steal, then had the earlier plays in mid lane too, and then just kind of was just more useful into the mid and late game, as you are on a tank jungler compared to a very early game jungler like the Pantheon.
Yeah, and part of it as well is just Pantheon doesn't clear that fast, and in some ways I would have preferred to see the kind of the Yankos tech, the Wolf start. So you go Wolves, blue, and then red, just because that's the easiest way for you to get to level 3 kind of fast enough. And unfortunately it did mean that Wilder just wasn't ready to defend the blue buff, had that smite disadvantage anyway, and lost that duel, and things started getting rough from there. You know, it was a 32 to 16 CS advantage at some point. You know, you hit that level 6 earlier, your bot lane gets in earlier, that mid lane fight goes pretty awry, and things start going wrong. And as there you see it, Deja Vu Academy, ban out the Shen, don't want to give it as an option for the first pick, but Mar 1996 will instead say, well, fine, we'll take the Ashe this time, let's see what you're like on something else upcoming.
Okay, so not willing to first pick Caitlyn, banned on blue side. Vayne taken away from upcoming Easy 2. I do think that's okay. I think Vayne has the ability to jump on a lot of these quote-unquote safe lane dominant AD carries if you don't get control of brushes and stuff like that, and you just end up getting rolled onto and condemned into a wall. So I think that's fine. If you think that Uzi is practiced enough on that champion, it's worth taking it away. Zach locked in very early for Horizon Light. This is somewhat of a counterable pick. I would actually quite like to see something like Thresh.
You can play Zach out of pretty much everything, honestly. The Elastic Slingshot in particular, quite counterable.
What else can you play about it?
I was thinking, you can't play the Let's Bounce. I was thinking that was a foolish idea. And I was
you can move him away,
but it just he just gets to keep bouncing. Will that be the Sejuani?
That's another thing. You can Arctic Assault into the Elastic Slingshot.
So. You can.
Good luck, Mythy. It's going to be a little bit harder this game.
He's played it before in the race, looked pretty okay on it, but of course it is the Sejuani, and Ashe and Sejuani, that Freljord duo is a hell of a lot of lockup in Deja Vu.
So, what else did Deja Vu Academy want to lock in before things got said and done for this first round of picks? It's going to be the Victor, found away in the second... No, it was the first round of picks. It was a third ban for Horizon Light in game 1, and then on blue side, away from Vanoff. This is his most practical pick. The question is, does Jaded have something that can really punish a Victor? Notable things are like Syndra, normally very good into that. A number of other...
What's Fizz like into it?
Pretty good. Fizz is pretty good into Victor. However, you don't necessarily need that, because there's already going to be a Zac ganking him, and Victor does not have a way to cancel that jump. Nico is going to be the lock-in, and that is a heck of a lot of CC to try and take down this mid-jungle CP2.
Yes, it is. Of course, remember, Jaded's Nico has been his most picked for this split. Has looked very good on it. It's great gauge. You can pull some interesting trickery out of it. It counters a surprising amount of things in mid. Honestly, we've seen it primarily where we're from, of course, with into Zoe, for example, where you can play into that. It's into the Victor here, which is a little different, but as you said, just lots of CC, which is kind of Victor's nemesis. I'm expecting a cleanse or at least a spellbook.
It's the same kind of logic as when you would pick something like Lux, right? You have that targeted CC, well, not targeted, but you have that long-range throwaway CC, which can catch out a lot of the more stationary or telegraphed mid laners, and of course Zoe is that telegraph.
Sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there because I'm shaking in horror at the thought of a Lux with targeted CC. It's like the Rise, but with a nuclear missile for the ultimate.
It's like Luxes I play against on ARAM.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so Nico is kind of like that same kind of logic, but then you have a more reliable team fight because the Pop Loss is really, really impactful. We've gone through the second round of bans. It's the Urgot and Nautilus away from Deja Vu, taken off the table by Horizon Light, and in return it is the Morgana and the Gnar taken away from Horizon Light.
Of course, it will be the top laners that got to go here. So they've got support that can be picked up. So I'll be curious to see which order they do this. Do they want to give Salty Sam the counter pick? Do they want to give Cliff the counter pick? Looks like they're going to give Salty Sam the counter pick. It is the Alistar lock-in.
Lock-in Poppy.
You have got a lot of ways to screw over multiple engage options there with Poppy. I completely agree.
Just play Poppy.
I mean, it's Stun on Bang Alter is, of course, the tank player. He plays the Shen, does play the Ornn. If he plays the Poppy, we can't pull it out.
Yep, that'll be the perfect pick right now. I don't... Okay, it is a pick which not necessarily everyone has practiced.
Okay.
The Braum is locked in.
3 Glacial.
Mega Balls. You have to lock in one more for that 4-set bonus. Braum doesn't end up blocking champions though. He blocks projectiles, but Zac is the projectile.
That doesn't work.
Okay, Maokai is pretty much the next best thing. It is still a disengaged champion. If Alistar gets too far ahead, and then the ult comes through and locks up someone like the Nico or the Ezreal, so there aren't in range to do damage,
isolated.
It means that Alistar is, wow, you're in the middle of the team fight, and you do nothing after that point because your team can't follow.
We might be seeing a reverse of the matchup here, possibly.
Oh,
but wait, thinking about the Mal fight. So many ways in. They do flex it back to the Ornn. It will be a switch in the matchup. Last time out, Lucas Bang Alter found himself in some dire straits on the Ornn. Was a little overgrown by the Maokai. A lot of tanky frontlines to both squads. Carries of Nico and Ezreal versus Victor and Ashe. I kind of feel like if it hits true late game, Victor and Ashe are going to have better ways of dealing with tanks now.
But the backline access from Horizon Light is way more reliable than Deja Vu Academy. You can block out the Ornn ult with the Braum Shield, is one of the other reasons. I was a little bit surprised that Salty Sam chose this. Either way, it still gives you items. Actually saying that, Nico doesn't really build an early Ornn item upgrade. You go for the double glacial first though, right?
That's true.
So, and they are cheaper than some other items. Then you really want to go towards some, I mean, you can go towards those items. It gets you up to that 45% CPR if you do go towards that glacial route, of course. Ezreal at least has the option of upgrading something like the Triforce, which is pretty okay. I think you probably do need to go Triforce this game because you need to be a lot of your team's damage.
So I mean, that's the question, right? We can see that Horizon Light here have all of the backline access in the world. The question is, will their damage be enough to follow up one? Whereas the other side is like, yeah, you've got a Victor and an Ashe in a pretty decent front line. If you can keep them alive versus all the engaged, they will be able to do some massive team fight work for the side of Deja Vu.
Will do. Of course, we have an Alistar in the game. I have seen some phase rush Alistar. That is a thing which has papered over some of the cracks of what Alistar has been suffering in the season, namely that he can't get out of a fight if he ever gets into it. But then not having the aftershock really sucks for lane. Gotta see what Clifton is doing on this pick, because it is always the question, same thing about Galio support, Nautilus support. If you are behind, how do you do in team fights? Because you're just gonna get yourself in there and immediately give gold over to the enemy carry. So I'm a little bit worried at that point. Then it just comes down to Clifton being able to pilot these team fights while the team following up, so he is not the person being focused down, and rather his team doing damage to force the enemy team back.
So, I know you are or were fairly prolific Victor player alongside him at the Ari. What are you thinking about this mid-jungle 2v2 for both sides?
So if you overcommit into Victor and he's built, because he can take magic resist runes, he's up against a double AP mid-jungle, and you can go towards early Merc Treads. Yeah, you can have this turnaround, particularly if Sejuani's there for a counter gang. But if you are ever caught by a elastic slingshot, things get really, really dicey, because Nico just one-shots.
Yes.
You will probably need to go for a Banshee spell. You're probably going to need to go for Merc Treads too, because at least most of the damage coming out of Horizon Live is going to be magic damage. In fact, even Ezreal is arguably about 30% magic damage unless you go towards Leandri later, or or a Blade the Ruin King, which can shift those around a little bit with the on-hit damages they do.
And in all honesty, Salt Pen Boots are lovely when there's lots of squishy people. When generally speaking, you've got 3 tanks you're going to be hitting a lot of your damage onto. You just want Void Staff anyway. So it's like, well, do I want Flat Pen? Not that desperately. Do I want CC reduction? Yes. Oh god, yes, please, desperately.
No, I think that Nico should build Oblivion Orb first item into a full MRT. Don't look, Sam. It's a joke.
Some jokes are not to be said aloud. You filthy degenerate. My colour cast is correct. That's exactly the phrasing. You see, that's what happened when he joined that clan tag. It made him worse. The debuff was too huge.
No, they said it would get me to diamond, but I was already there. It means I have to go back to plat to get back to diamond.
It was a curse to bring him down to the level where he might be able to play in Valorant.
Wait, maybe that's what I have to do. Maybe I have to demote so next player can play.
Oh, maybe we'll have that conversation afterwards, because we're throwing to a video. Hold on to your seats. We're going into game 2 very, very shortly. Well, we are back, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of hype. Good to be on to game 2. Sejuani Dawn Chase the skin choice here for DV Wild. I quite like that one. It's a nice one.
Yeah,
it's a nice one.
Appreciate that.
There's a few Sejuani skins that are actually pretty decent, I feel. But, like, she's not one, because she's got some very meh ones too. But, like, the Polo Rider one I find is like the Polo
Rider's great. I think Sejuani's ones are relatively... I mean, there's Bear Cavalry, there's the Championship one. No, Hextech, right? No, it's Championship. It's actually pretty good too. She's got a decent amount of skins. But of course, I'm a big fan of D&D myself and all the fantasy tropes, so Sejuani Dawn Chaser, that's pretty okay.
I do play Carthus Lightspan. I know it's the pay-to-lose skin.
It's pay-to-lose because you can see the outline of the queue. It's awful.
I know.
It's like playing Project Yasuo, where his Wind will actually and Tornado actually match their hitbox, so it's really easy to use, play against them, as opposed to all other Yasuo skins.
There's a bit of rage there.
Yes.
I'm surprised you never picked up Yasuo. You feel like the kind of salty rager who'd really enjoy it.
If you want the answer to that, watch my stream where I play Yasuo on ARAMs. It's very bad.
I think the thing is, actually, Yasuo takes quite a lot of work to get good enough to actually play with him properly. Especially at the level you're playing, right? Like, there is a kind of skill floor required to play with
I know, personally, I was a player that took a long time to pick up Akali, and same thing with Aurelia. I was too practiced at other champions, and I was succeeding on them, and I'd have to, like, dip my form a bit to learn those champions, and then slowly work my way back up to the level that I was on other champions. But sometimes it's absolutely worth it, particularly when they are in meta for such a long time. Someone like Ezreal's a really good example.
Yeah.
Kai'Sa, probably another good example of that too. A lot of champions which are just kind of always useful to have that skill set ready for, because they are just very relevant.
I feel like pretty much at least once a year, or at least once every year and a half, Caitlyn as well becomes a thing which people have to be aware of.
I remember Season 6 where it suddenly came out, and then Ashe came out to counter Caitlyn. Yeah. And we are paused for 10 seconds. Okay, so counters in, please.
Alright, we're on to Rift, and we're synced up. There will be no time traveling this time. We've managed to wrestle control over our incredible magical powers, and no time travel this time out. Cliff and, of course, Jaded, going for the matching outfits right now.
What's your favorite time travel trope? Because I have to say, actually, I'm not a big fan of time travel as a plot device.
I think it depends how well it's done.
Yeah, but what's your favorite trope?
So I kind of like the ones where...
Did you meet your own grandmother?
Let's not go Futurama on this one. Anyone who knows that reference can be as disgusted as I am with myself right now. But it's more like the ones where like you it's not necessarily like going back in time strictly, but it's almost like more of a reset into a world where it's just not quite, where it's actually significantly worse.
Oh, it's an alternate timeline.
Alternate timeline. Then you're trying to fix it from there, from ground zero. Like you think, like you wake up from a coma and you realize, oh no, it's not all played out that way. It's all gone wrong. You got to try and fix it from there. Like that one, I tend to find is a little bit more interesting because it's like
You should,
It's less power trophy.
You should go watch the second Gintama movie does that. You should watch that. That's good. Yeah. Gotta get my anime reference to that. Pretty good idea. Okay, back to game. We have jungle starts opposite side of the map. Red buff for both junglers. And the thing about Zac and Sejuani is that they're both champions which want to survive the early game. So if they just do the same thing, both of them have the situation they kind of want.
Yes. And it is still worth pointing out that both of these junglers, like, they're not going to duel especially well, but they're not that bad early gankers because they do bring a fair amount of CC, in particular the likes of, say, Zac, can just gank from weird angles and catch people out, especially if someone else there to follow up on your setup.
It's the same kind of thing with, like, I think Galio's a good example of this, where you do have good burst damage, but your continue damage is exceptionally low. You have Aftershock on both these junglers, but after they use their rotation, they really don't do much. That's why they don't duel well against someone like Elise with Conqueror, or like a Kindred or Trundle. They just end up running you down because you can't even run back to a turret when you are in the jungle or in river or whatever. However, when you're teaming up for a gank with one of your other team members, it doesn't become so much of an issue.
Already some trace between both of these players. Vanoffel looking a lot more confident in this matchup, at least trading back a little more evenly than he was in the first game.
And now we will have to see whether Horizon Light will be punished for giving comfort over to Deja Vu Academy. Of course, remember that Vanoffel has been starting mid lane for the whole split for them, whereas their AD carry is the person which has been subbed in. It's their coach. It is no longer Autumn 24/7. And first game,
there's a little irony that Autumn gets subbed out as it hits Autumn. That's
maybe he's got other obligations. Maybe it's like I've
got to go do Halloween things now, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. For now, though. Anywhere your eyes particularly tasked, there's another one of those angle bars.
My screen's set. It's on my screen because I'm watching the game.
But
that's how it works, you know.
Look, like, you're sat next to me, and like I'm clearly more into it. All right, well, Lucas Bangholder takes a rough trade there. Sat Magic gets a little bit of a top back up, and I'll have to take that one on the chin. Vanoffel has burned through his entire mana pool. Does have teleport, so
yeah,
can find his way back. I'm not sure if he wants to go back until he's got that 1100 gold mark to pick up that first hex core upgrade.
Well, this is the thing, right? You know, you were saying that I played a lot of Victor, and of course that is true. Played that way back in Season 5, picked it up again like Season 8, Season 9, back when that kind of came back around. The thing about Victor is that, yeah, he can trade early, he's a bit of a lane bully, gank in the mid lane.
Wilder comes in from off the top of the screen, Jada has to flash, but here is Mithy. The Tangle Bobs did miss, but now the stretching strikes also miss, and now there's just going to be a bit of a turnaround. Flash out of Jade, though.
I think he was on cooldown, otherwise he would have led in with that. But the thing about Victor is that, we're trading the bot lane now.
Cliff goes in, and you don't want to mess with the horns. That was a good use of the W there from Nico to prevent the Arctic Assault landing. Saves the life of Jaded.
So, didn't actually stop that landing. It just ends up running the other way. Knockup lands, but it's just not the E passive being fully stacked. It does stop the recall, means that maybe you lose a bit more of this wave, and Victor has a chance to just sit and farm his next wave out for free. Of course, we'll still not have that 1/150 gold spike, but now to teleport back in, Nico's ready to fight.
Does not a flash fall for Cliff, who's going to regret that one. Just pounds the ground in frustration there.
It does have Hex Flash at least, so it's not the worst flash to lose on your team. But you're still really hoping for something to happen there. You're already committed to the TP from Nico, who is already coming back to lane. Just a little bit of an awkward moment there from Cliff.
Just a little. For now, though, not much to write home about. It is still a slight bold lead to Horizon.
What would you write home about, Sam? What would you even write to anyone about? Do you actually write letters?
I mean, I write articles, is what I write. My day job. My day job is as...
Sam, it's writing home, not writing to homepage.
Home is where... No, what would I write about? Probably about music stuff, frankly, because I'm doing a lot of stuff with our dad about music right now. So probably about that, honestly. And then probably like updates about Ziggy, our puppy, who is gorgeous.
She's great. She's a walking carpet.
She's she's basically mostly fluff, guys.
It is just.
She has an Instagram page.
Oh yeah.
Recommend it.
Well, not so fluffy in this top lane. Got some bark. Got some forgery.
Yeah, that's right. We had that conversation I don't know when I had this conversation with you that Ornn is a god of forgery. And like he's there to help people out. That is a Chaos Storm coming out, and Vanoffel has to flash away as the Stretching Strike landed. Mithy, though, not quite down into passive, but Vanoffel stuck around for more of the wave, at least hit level 6 there, but had to burn the flash. Will have to reset, does have teleport to get back into lane. Be a lot more vulnerable to follow-up ganks.
We'll be fighting the top lane. Actually going pretty well for Sir Salty Sam on the Ornn. He's had Number of good trades, has his ultimate available to him. Lucas just levels up to level 6. That probably stops the threat of any dive.
Yes, it does, and Sap Magic will at least mean that Maokai isn't at kill threat well here. Victor got to teleport back in, has got that Hex Core upgrade, and finally Nico hits 6 herself. At this point, though, relatively even into better items right now for the Victor, of course, because he had that slightly later back, but decent Tangle Barbs there. Remember, there is still the Pop Blossom available for Nico, but very low on the mana, and that's a little bit suspect, Jaded.
Oof.
I wasn't sure that was Noops or Noof, possibly both.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah,
so, that's the thing with Nico. It's actually the same reason why you can build Protobelt on Nico. I played with a Protobelt Nico jungle in solo queue once in High Diamond. It was really good. You end up cancelling your ult pause animation. Same thing with Kennen, right? Use your flash to cancel your ult's immediate pause when you click it on. Having that one stationary moment means that you do actually need to close the distance quite a lot to land it on someone, even when you're just walking away from Nico.
So that basically you're going for the R flash or the R Protobelt, that kind of ordering on. Go guys, try that out in practice too, or try that in your rank games with Nightmare straight away.
Nico jungle, actually okay.
Alright, so Nightmare would be okay with the Nico jungle. Keep your eyes on that one.
I think it's low-key alright.
Low-key alright. You could take that. You could take that.
It's like, wow, what's hidden OP right now? What's hidden okay right now? Yeah, Nico jungle's alright.
It's alright, yeah. I know, like, the thing is, we've cast things like Kaiser jungles before. It's like, okay, yeah, that was not okay.
No, that was like...
That was Dark Harvest Rammus mid. That was not okay.
Okay. We do see the Dragon...
Legends, yeah.
Dragon going down to Deja Vu Academy.
Yes.
And that's against the Ezreal who started Pickaxe, who's normally pretty good in lane. Of course, has the 10 CS advantage. But with that Dragon going down, at least Mithy will head over to top side of Deja Vu's jungle and picking up some camps there. He's still behind in farm, not been farming quite as effectively as Wilder, who's gone for the... Farmy Cinder first as opposed to the jungle item. Takes a turret shot, takes one of the rocks of the Nico Q2. Too happy about that. Joe will be backing because he's low HP anyway.
Just forcing the back, slowing
the stuff. He's almost got... He actually has his flash.
Wait. Here comes Mithy. The stretching strikes miss, and Vanopal gets to walk away from that one. Second attempt mid, doesn't really find all that much. See a little Wilder now looking for engage. He's got level 6 to the level 5 here in the jungle. Can he get the permafrost stacks? There it is. Going to try and get the passive down with the Ash Arrow coming through. Jaded is going to try and get forward, but that's the Chaos Storm down as well. Flash in. First blood still goes away of Victor, and second as well. True Shot Barrage is fairly hefty. Call the Forge God also good. Vanopal falls to that one. Here comes Cliff. Do they have what it takes to mess with the horns of the slows?
Sejuani's in the jungle.
And Sejuani caught at the back end of this. It will in the end probably be a 2-for-2 unless they execute. That's the real question. Wilder needs to find his way to the turret. Does take another shot. Execute. So it is the 2-for-1, and Wilder prevents gold and probably a little bit of experience, I suppose. I think somebody might have been arranged for that.
So, while Horizon Light very much on the same page in game 1, this time you can see the disconnect between Jaded and Sir Salty Sam. You see that Jaded goes in way too early for that Call of the Forge God to back up that engage from the Pop Blossom. Means that Jaded goes down, at least get some damage done at first, but it kind of feels a little bit awkward after seeing that kind of play. Going through a choke point versus Victor always kind of dangerous with the huge amount of AoE and the gravity field coming through from that champion. Now with 2 kills and that second upgrade on the Hex Core, he's feeling pretty good for himself.
Yes, Bob's definitely landed. That one looked a little bit like a Nautilus hitbox, not going to lie on that one. I thought he was out of there. All the while, Mithy does secure the Rift Herald, trying to find the engage. Now Cliff in a spot of bother does have the Unbreakable Will, though, to get himself out of trouble.
Not going to lie, probably not a much threat of death to a Sejuani Braum.
No.
Those two are not the people that are going to one-shot you. Either
way,
way,
there as well, though.
A little way off. But I guess maybe he was just a little afraid of the vision he didn't have of the team. Burns the ult just to be safe either way and gets out alive. I guess we got to check in on a couple of items, see what people are starting to go around. We already alluded to the Victor. He's got himself that second Hex Core. Really important because it means he has now the movement speed on his Q when he uses that. It means that he can start trying to kite out some skill shots. Maybe if you see the ultimate pop from Jaded, you can start using that movement speed to dodge out some of that too. And of course, we already talked about the phase rush being on him. He's just very, very mobile if he isn't immediately caught up and locked down with CC.
It's going to be the Blade of the Ruin King build for Ashe, which I know is lower damage, but it is into 3 tanks, and I kind of see the justification for it, even if I know you are much bigger fan of the Essence Reaver in general right now for Ashe.
There are 3 tanks in this game which you're going to be hitting. We talked about backline access for Horizon Light. Isn't too much available for Deja Vu and Maokai.
Flash, Headbutt, Pulverize coming through, but Bang Alter does manage to get out with his own flash, but Mithy coming forward doesn't quite land the elastic slingshot, and all the while those death lasers in the mid lane are starting to chunk out Jade a little bit there.
So that is a flash for flash.
Whoa, that's a fabulous hit onto Jaded. And another kill with an awful 3-1 on the Victor is looking much happier this game.
It is, and we're saying, hey, while this is going to be Ash Victor having an easier time in the late game dealing with the front-to-back team fights, we kind of thought that would maybe be at 25, 30 minutes in. Now, with this huge injection of gold and being 600 gold over his lane opponent, he's had a very good early game, and often it is Victor, much like the Sidrani and the Zac, trying to survive the early game and getting to the point where he does have relevant damage in these backline versus tank matchups.
Still got to cast our eyes towards that bot side, though, because remember the last... You don't have any eyes, you're a color cast. We've been over this.
I don't look at the minimap.
You don't.
Yeah.
Shocking. But upcoming Uzi has got the most farm in the game. Up 20 CS already at that Mana Mooney, looking to get the more mana as soon as possible, and that's pretty huge. You can see the Rift Heralds on the bottom as well, but here comes the engage. And it's upcoming Uzi, whose eyes need to be a little bit more careful. The teleport now coming through. The Glacial Fissure coming out. Cliff has got himself an Unbreakable Will to try and keep himself alive for a little bit longer. Mithy still low. Pop Blossom is pretty huge, but only gets Braum in the back end of it. The Chaos Storm also massive. It's 2 kills to none. As the attempt for the Rift Herald player in the bot side gets turned around very aggressively by Deja Vu Academy.
So, using the globals of teleports on both sides, but it is Deja Vu coming out ahead in kills. They are still behind 100 gold, but they are going to get themselves a second dragon. It is a mountain dragon, and in this game where there are so many tanky people on the board, this is worth so much. It is worth, let's say, how many is it again? It's 6% scaling defensive resist. I always forget if it's 2 or 4% or 6%. But even the Infernal is the 4% one. And you can see that what that means, it just means that it's so much easier to buy your backline that space to do the damage to the enemy front line in these team fights, because you just don't die as quickly.
We already said, yeah, it could be a bit of an issue if Jaded and upcoming Uzi end up behind. Upcoming Uzi doing alright in the farm. 2-3 on Jaded though. Definitely struggling a little bit more this game, and could be a problem, especially if these backliners or these frontliners, I apologize, are getting even tankier right now.
However, the thing is, if Ash and Victor die at the start of a team fight, it doesn't matter how tanky your tanks are, you still don't win the team fight at that point. That's kind of been one of the tells which we've known about League in a competitive sense from, what, season 5, 6? Because it used to be the kind of thing where, I remember Wolf from SKT after the season 6 World Championship victory, he was very famous for saying, look, damage beats tank in pretty much every situation, right? If you manage to survive 3 to 6 items, doesn't matter how tank you are, you just end up killing the 1 or 2 people, the 2 threats on the enemy team, and that's it, team fight's over.
And that was back in the days when people used to run no tank comps. That's what they used to do, and that was partly their reason. They said, look, we get to late, we just have more damage than you. And right now, Victor at 4-1 is pretty damn strong. Mithy gets caught by a enchanted crystalline arrow. There is a gravity field as well. Doesn't quite manage to catch out the Zac though. And speaking of SKT skins, that will be the season 6 Zac skin that does manage to slip away there. Rise though that that gold. The reason that Horizon Knights still have a gold lead in this game is because they just got plates. Deja Vu Academy got absolutely 0 plates, whereas as you saw, 1 in the mid lane and the full tower in the bot side for Horizon Light, which has just kept them in the game just in terms of pure gold stats. And there are some decent CS numbers here, particularly from the likes of Uzi.
There are. So Uzi looks like he's going towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. Because he's going toward Iceborne Gauntlet, I actually wonder if he wants to go or should go towards a Leandri's 3rd or 4th in this game. I know that stands for
over a Blade.
Blade is nice, but Blade would also be really nice. That's true. But I'm just wondering if he
needs to diversify the damage a little.
Well, no, there's a lot of AP on his team. It's just that Leandri's is really, really good versus tanks as well as the Blade. Whereas Blade kind of feels like you fall off a bit. Leandri's affects your base damages and all that stuff.
I'm wondering whether you go Blade Leandri's, what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, you need the. I actually wonder if Azrael can go towards a Death Stance this game.
Okay.
I
see
wonder.
That to try and survive a little bit.
We know that there's not as much backline access, so that's the tagline we've been using for most of this game.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, I kind of forgot Blade existed. Yeah, probably Blade's probably the better option. I think that you have to skip out on the Death Stance. I think you fall behind too much in damage, even though it gives you that extra 10% CDR. You can see he's already gone for the Conqueror. I think that's important because you are going to have to be racking up your stats and getting to that point where you just... Well, you're not...
in the long team fights, keep going, basically.
Exactly. You need that extra DPS because you're already going to fall behind the likes of the Victor when they're this far ahead.
And sort of see there as well. Bang off. Salty Sam just continuing the wet noodle fight, but Deja Vu Academy have moved over to the second Herald. Doing a fair amount of work, but here comes the rest of Horizon Light. Mithy will not come in quite yet, but here he goes over the wall. He's in the back end of it. Jaded is getting caught out by Van Offel, who's popped the Chaos Storm, and Wilder did secure it, and Van Offel is on the killing spree. 5-1, the iconic champion for Van Offel. Well, the last part of his name definitely coming out true here, as he is destroying the backsides of Horizon Light, and they're just turning into piles of waffle right now. It feels like every time Victor looks at them.
Well, he hits the Victor E and gets the Victor E in the 1v1.
Ooh,
and there's a fight in the bot side, forcing the ult of Zac.
So ult down for Zac, no mid laner, no teleport. Dragon up in about a minute, so can't fight for that quite yet, but they do have, of course, the Herald. So good luck to summon that in mid lane. In fact, you can see Victor teleporting straight back in, saying, I just want to be around and on the map as soon as I can be. It's looking like he's going towards the Leandri's second here as well. Now he's got himself that perfect hex core, I believe, is the final.
Yes, it is. It's hex core, MK1, MK2, and then the perfect hex core. So now he has a slow on everything but his on his Q and his E, if he hits those, his non-periodic damage abilities. So that means that if he does, well, see the fight in here. I actually wonder if someone wants to take this, but they don't commit to it. Just using the Herald mid, taking down that outer turret.
Finally get a turret of their own, and it is in the mid lane. That gets them a very slight gold lead, but they've got the objective lead, and they have this Victor that is such a problem for Horizon Light right now. Here we go again, Wilder going in, but it hasn't stopped Portugal quite yet, so I'm looking for the reactivation. It's blocked by Braum, but now Mithy going to the backline, who got frozen by the grab. But Jaded makes up for his earlier mistakes with a beautiful Pop Blossom. Upcoming Uzi gets the first kill of the fight, but it's still getting traded back 1-for-1. The health bar is so low, but Uzi running wild and make it the VLPL for a reason, because look who is here, look who is carrying. Rename him to RNG, because that one looked like Chinese solo queue.
Oh my word, we've invoked some of the more famous names of League of Legends in our references in the last couple of minutes, and that would have been a team fight worthy of the comeback games of your RNG, of your SKT. At the moment where everything looked to be on the precipice of Deja Vu Academy getting to a point where they just roll to some strong team fight wins, Uzi comes up. It's not even his 2-item spike. He's actually going towards that Triforce. That second Mana Crystal will not be going towards that Iceborne Gauntlet. They take themselves a mid lane outer turret against the head of this game. They have themselves a sizable gold lead now at 3,000. They stop the dragon stacking from Deja Vu Academy, and with an Ocean Rift on the map too, it's very important to deny that soul point away from Deja Vu. Suddenly, Horizon Light, after being under the cosh for a number of minutes in this game, well, maybe a bit of an advantage.
Flip it and ship it. That was the team fight to turn it around. And Jaded at 0-4-1 finds the mother of all Pop Blossoms. After I thought it was done, so Salty Sam couldn't get the call of the Forge God reactivation. It was blocked by Braum, and I thought, Victor with a Chaos Storm, with the lasers in that corridor, it's just feeling fantastic. Jaded finds fantastic Pop Blossom. Upcoming Uzi is untouched, and he's upcoming anymore. He's just there right now. 303 Trinity Force complete. It's not the Muramana right now. He is very much online, and just flick over the item here. We'll see exactly what the transformation time is at.
It's only like a minute away, probably 100 stacks off.
Yeah, 650 right now. Wilder and Mega Balls are going to catch out Cliff here. He's got has to pop it. Here's all they get done. Of course, jungle and support them. Not the most damage between a Sejuani and a Braum. As Raj tags my 1996, but not much else.
And this is the kind of point in the game where we have these massive team fights in the finals of this division, where, you know, if you're a first-time watcher of the Vans League, you know, this is a lower than Diamond ranked league. This is not, you know, your professional, master, grandmaster, challenger players having at it on the biggest stages of the world. That doesn't mean we don't have storylines. That doesn't mean we don't give these players the respect for showing up and making these games entertaining, and also fighting for their own pride and their own clippable moments, as Sam was saying. I'm glad that Horizon Light did not just roll over and die this game. Yeah, it is now a very even contest. I do think that Victor can absolutely shred these team fights. Once he completes that Leandri's, I think that even though Ornn will be very, very strong, the Zac might be at a point where he can get taken down. The Alistair, we've seen him get caught out a number of times. I'm hoping to see another couple of these cataclysmic team fights. And remember, Horizon Light have not lost a single game this split. A single one! Never mind a series, they have gone 14-0 in-game score. So just besides that, I'm really hoping that Deja Vu can make this an interesting game.
He could find himself in a spot of bother here, though. The left bounce
Have no
is
passive,
blocked.
that's dangerous though.
A little, but he had got Cliff walking up, and upcoming Uzi wasn't that far behind. And you know, a minute or two ago, we were saying like this Victor at 5-1 is a terror. Ezreal's farming pretty well. Maybe he'll get somewhere. Oh, he looks like he might be going towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. After that fight, he comes back. He's got a Trinity point. He now has a Muramana transformation, and you've got these two titanic carries ready to go head-to-head, and it will be very big team fights in the upcoming moments.
And Ezreal on a 2-item spike, probably the strongest champion in the game.
It's the casting, like, talking point since Ezreal has been a thing.
Yeah, you know, back in Season 2, Season 3, whatever. He's been around for such a long time, doing the same thing for absolute eons. He now has 30% CDR, or well, 35%, he'll have that secondary Cosmic Insight. And he's at a point where he can absolutely crap on the back line of Deja Vu Academy. If he's allowed to get to them. If he gets stunned up by a Sejuani ult. If he gets caught by a Maokai, gets caught in a groundy field, the team fight is over for Horizon Light, much in the same way that we're saying, oh, well, you know, if Victor Ash dies, then things kind of go wrong. So now this is going to be a battle of the two people with the huge leads on their team, the Victor and the Ezreal respectively, to see who can use their gold lead most effectively, who can use it most safely.
We're finding out exactly how that plays out in about a minute or so, because it'll be Ocean Drake number 2 spawning in just under that minute mark. As we've been saying, it will be 3rd Drake for Deja Vu Academy, it will be 2nd for Horizon Light, who did manage to secure that first one.
See the fight over Vision happening already. See if there's any poke coming through. This is the Q there onto Mega Balls, and remember, Ezreal really wants to be hitting those Qs right now. If he starts getting that HP advantage, then suddenly Deja Vu do not have those 100% health bars, and they don't have that same ability to fight front to back.
Was Ezreal here? Doesn't necessarily have the easiest targets to hit right now. Like Braum, Shield's pretty damn good into it, but he just got himself a Trinity Fusion. That's a Salty Sam hit level 14. Could it have been better timing, Chimera?
I don't think it could be 10 seconds until the objective. Deja Vu, though, brush just outside the Dragon Pit. Death Ray's coming through, landing a bit of damage onto Jaded. Poke so far going the way of Deja Vu Academy.
Frankly, that death station, or that battle station, has been fully operational for a long moment. And actually, Deja Vu Academy have lost control of this river in terms of their vision. They've got wards in all the bushes. There's a pink ward behind them, pink wards in front of them. They've got a couple themselves, but...
Take like a third of the HP off from a 1996 there.
Yeah, he's got himself Blade of the Ruin King, so if he can find his way to auto attacks, and that, of course, was a decent GLP. Mithy into the backline. The Braum ult there. That is a flash! Pot Blossom, and Victor is dead, Braum is dead, and so is the rest of Deja Vu Academy. They hit their item spikes, they hit their ultimates, and by God, they're hitting this game in the face with all the damage right now. Upcoming Uzi stepping forward to get the clean ace as the rest of his team will secure their second dragon, and suddenly it's 5,000 gold, not 500, and... I was wondering whether Ezreal could carry. I think we're finding the answer right now.
And when it comes to V, you see that Horizon Lights at the end of your tunnel. It's just a freight train headed your way, and this is the team which is greater than the sum of their parts. We talked about Jaded not necessarily succeeding individually in his lane matchup, but it doesn't matter. It's the Glacial coming through, which sets up for the Call of the Forge God, sets up for once again Jaded coming back into the fray with a huge Pot Blossom, and all of this just gives up Uzi an absolute field day to do damage on behalf of his team. They get themselves 2 dragons in a row after breaking those 2 early stacks of dragons from Deja Vu Academy. They have themselves a large gold lead now. And suddenly you have to say, what can Deja Vu do to get back into this game?
Completely true. And once again, I'm looking at upcoming Uzi's summoners. He got to flash forward in that fight. He had cleanse for the last 5-10 minutes, hasn't had to use it.
Ashol?
That is a terror. We're going to see the Ashol onto Salty Sam. The concussive blows landing, going further forwards. Concussive blows and permafrost going down. They have gone very deep. Here is a turnaround. And upcoming Uzi is here and doing all the damage in the world. Jaded on the flank, and it is 3 for none. Van Alphen wasn't there. Lucas Van Alphen wasn't there. It's 25 minutes into the game, guys. They're going to walk straight over to Baron, and I think that might have just cost them the game.
Discipline from Horizon Light. Spoiled that in game 1, how they managed to just make sure they weren't making the stupid plays, making sure that they'd done their due diligence. Fell apart a couple of times, they lost a couple of picks. But we also talked about desperation coming in from Deja Vu Academy. Dinoffel wasn't there, now he's been caught. He does take down Nico, but it's a 1-for-1, and the Baron still falls to the side of Horizon Light.
Oh, that would be finally something back, I suppose, about awful, but it's still another kill. It's still the Baron, and you've only taken it off the Nico, right? Yeah, that's possibly one of the 1-3-1 pushes, but it's still on the Ezreal. It's still, say, on the Ornn, who would have been the other lane. So you've still got 2 lanes of pushing Baron minions, and looking pretty dire right now. It's feeling like Victor versus the world. This Ashe not even at a second item yet. Ezreal on the other side ain't that far away from death's stance. He's hanging around in base. I think he might well just have it.
He'll have it in 10 golds time.
Oh, he's waiting on 10 gold. He's got the Aegis of the Legion in inventory.
By the way, he is 4,500 gold up onto...
good lord.
Onto Ashe, I believe
That's half of the gold lead.
Yeah, that's 3,500. That's what it is. Yeah, and he has himself an upgraded Triforce and the Dash Dance. This is the 3-item Ezreal, which has terrorized this season of League of Legends. It's not necessarily the strongest it has ever been in this season, but it doesn't have to be. He is so far ahead of the curve. He is going to be absolutely destroying this entire team of Deja Vu.
And it probably means that Victor doesn't manage to get the 1v1 kill. It'll take him a second rotation.
Sam's way out here.
Sam is way out. He's going to find himself in a serious spot. He's got a blast going to try and find himself to safety, but the concussive blows land. He pops the entire team over the wall, and they'll get the shutdown critically onto this Victor as well. That might buy them time, but all the while you can see upcoming Uzi shoves down onto this mid-tier 2. Jaded and Mithy will get a second wave shoved into the tier 2.
There's a teleport coming in to collapse on Ezreal and Alistair here. They need to group up.
In a 4-5v2. Cliff going to be left out to dry. You can see the blast come back from Lucas. So nice. Ashe gets the shutdown. Ezreal died the first time this game, and he's still got a 700 gold shutdown. Ashe gets the second one as well. And that Baron push is stunted just as it was beginning. And I thought we were saying that Horizon Light had good discipline. Well done on throwing the ball right back down to the other end of the court.
And that's the word. That's the word. It's the discipline. One of the things that G2 from EU's professional scene showed us last year is that Baron is not the unsurmountable objective. It's more about how you can punish people even if you trade something for that Baron play. They split up not into a 1-4. They don't split up into a 1-3-1. They go into a 1-2-2 strange lane allocation where they can't support each other. Ezreal does not have Flash, doesn't have Cleanse. He gets locked up by Lucas Bangalter on the Maokai, and then all of the kills come through. So that is 3 huge shutdowns in a row. That is, I think it was about 2 kills worth of gold coming in from the Ornn. So that was 650 gold coming in. And then you had the shutdown to Ezreal. That's 1,000. That's 3 kills coming in, 3.5. That's 5 kills altogether. And then you have also another kill coming through, so about another 2 kills. That's more like 7 kills for the price of 3. It means that the gold lead is not as daunting as it was before. It's still bad. You still have these huge item breakpoints coming through from Horizon Light. You've now got the Twin Shadows coming out of Jedi, the Double Glacial coming out. You still have 2 items on Mithy, who is very, very tanky on this Zag. And you have to still face off against them in this team fight, because this is another Dragon Spawn.
It does, however, buy a 3rd item for Victor. It buys an item and a half for Ashe. She's got herself that BF sword alongside that Hurricane inventory now. Already had the execution.
She was
as well.
3.5 gold down. Now she's only 2,000 now. Close that by about 1,500.
Which is huge. I mean, it's still a discrepancy, don't get me wrong. But at least it's Ashe is significantly more teamfight ready than she was a minute ago.
But you see this, Sam is currently in the top lane pushing the turret.
A teleport.
He does. It looks like Horizon Light looking for poke. They're not finding anything, and the Dragons have started.
Where is Zach coming to the backside? He gets onto Ashe. The bounce house is real. Marv flashes over the wall. But here is Sasoli Sam. Ezreal is trying to do his best in the other side of this map, trying to stay alive. Is alive for now, but upcoming Uzi, so very, very low. He's got Flash over the wall, trying to poke as much damage as he can. Jaded, low as well. Van Offel flashing away, but he flashes into Ornn, and he sears himself a nice side of metallic steak. It's a bloody fight, but it is a fight that is won by Horizon Light right now, but it's still going. A Mithy actually still pretty damn low, and it's tank v tank as upcoming Uzi died somewhere in that one as well.
The blobs are so much!
The blobs doing so much work. Mithy is doing more work than Wilder right now. The elastic slingshot just goes Wilder. Wilder backsteps. Arctic Assault the other way. Lucas Bangalter gets knocked up and knocked down by Mithy. A 4 for 2 right now as Lucas Bangalter trying to find his way out. So you're right, 4 for 3 as my color caster calls me out mid-flow. How dare you, sir? And we'll see Sir Salty Sam and Mithy look to run down. be more noble like him and don't call me out like that. You may have been right, but either way.
Either way, ends up being 4 for 3. All things said and done. But the Dragon and Ocean Soul point goes over to Deja Vu Academy. So Salty Sam teleports in the midst of the fight. He's not there to open up with a Call of the Forge God. Upcoming Uzi is not behind his tank line. He gets hit by a Chaos Storm. He gets hit by another piece of CC too. And he's basically taken out of the fight, death stance or not. He has a lot of defensive stats. And then he re-enters the fight with a Flash E straight into the waiting grasp of Lucas. Bang Ultra on the Maokai, gets CC'd up and dies. We talked about which of the carries with the leads can play most effectively with their lead and safely with their lead. This team fight, it was not Uzi who was safe enough to make this into a very clean fight.
And it was some amazing early team fights around that kind of mid game from this Ezreal. 2 in a row now. One we got caught out around pushing with the Baron, and one now around this Dragon fight. Led to 2 deaths in a row, and all of that juicy shutdown gold being picked up by Deja Vu Academy. It's the closest game thus far. It is still a significant
and out of a choice of 2, where one was a stomp.
Indeed, but I'm talking about the rest of the regular season too, that wasn't all that close either. Thank you very much, sir. Lucas Bangolder here might find himself in a spot above those Jaded Twin Shadows. Catch him out, force the Flash from the Maokai. 1996 was nowhere near as well, was picking up the red buff right there. I think he would have been on Vision as well, because you can see that one lone Vision ward there. It managed to pick some stuff up.
Okay, so
it's going to start off with the Baron.
There are teleports available from the solo laners of Deja Vu Academy. Spotted out with a blue trinket, but there are so many tanky tanks on the side of Horizon Light, they are not going to lose HP for this attempt. Let's see if they can stick the engage.
Half HP now on the Baron. Van Offel walking up, that is the Chaos Storm, but it's only really on the ultimate way. The Ezreal gets eviscerated by Nico, and by Nico is the one who gets eviscerated. I apologize, I thought that was the Ezreal who is here trying to put some damage at the back end, but now Van Offel is caught on the other side. Mithy taken low, stunned up by the concussive blows. Upcoming Uzi doing work as well. Man 1996 has slayed Clip though, and it is a 1-team fight for Deja Vu Academy. Jaded got absolutely destroyed by Victor.
Uzi was auto-attacking the Sejuani, whereas the Ashe was attacking everyone else with the Runan's Hurricane. The damage was way more impactful from the AD carry of Deja Vu Academy this time, but they have some lower health bars, and Ezreal's still around. I don't know why he's queuing the Baron there. I reckon he could start trying to force some kills here. There is also a teleport coming up on Jaded soon.
Had to eat away from the death ray that came forward to a lot of weather. Is close. That was a pretty bloody close true shot barrage, but it will not matter. Still secured by Deja Vu Academy, who find themselves a team fight victory this time out. And hell, even the last one, even they lost in manpower, they still got the Ocean Drake. So they are now back with a kind of toehold, and more than a toehold, a serious chance of victory. It's Infinity Edge for Ashe and a Vamp Scepter as well. Things starting to look up here for Deja Vu Academy, and I think Horizon Light might have let go of this game.
They've been the ones engaging onto the team stuck at the objective first. This is the first team fight where they were the ones at the objective, and Wilder punishes them so hard with a crucial Glacial Prison coming through. But Wilder's now been caught.
He's still pretty bloody tanky though, and they just don't have the damage there. Jaded has got 2 items, but it's 2 Glacial items. He's going to Zonya's 3rd. He's not going to have anything like a death cap for the real destructive
or anything like
AB.
Leandries or anything.
No, nothing like that. And that means that just Wilder, yeah, gets CC'd for a while, but little else happens. And now we're going to see another engage. Cliff goes forwards. Glacial slow again. Here comes the Call of the Forge God, going to come straight through, but doesn't really come through on the other side. Upcoming Uzi over the wall, trying to get some work done. Doing some work, but Salty Sam now caught out between a lot of people. Cliff, very strong. Jaded doesn't find the biggest Pop Blossom, and that was a Glacial Prison over the wall, but the Tangle Barbs doing a lot of work. Uzi is trying to auto, but he's just too far away. He needs to think about coming over the wall. Is queuing for the life of him, but cannot find the kills. The health bars are desperately low. But that's a death ray and a chaos storm that will secure the 10th kill of the game for Victor. And yeah, Ezreal was safe, but could not find the auto attacks because the range was just too far over the back of the Dragon Pit.
Uzi! Ezreal can auto attack! You can right click! I know he's. Oh my god, that's. Okay, I take it back. He stops the Ocean Soul from hitting Deja Vu Academy.
Oh, well, Red 5 standing by finds the torpedo that stops the end of the world there. That is huge! Well done from Uzi there. Yeah, you can't right-click, but sure as hell you can use your abilities, alright.
He's doing pretty okay on that front. Another crucial interaction was the Glacial Fissure coming out of some Mega Balls to stop the Elastic Slim Shot coming in from Mythia to get into the backline. But now
going
it's
forward. They've got themselves the man advantage. So it's Cliff who will fall down. Uzi survives, but it's very, very low. They've got Baron still. They're looking to maybe get an inhibitor. You can see Mart 1996 is very low, and they've got respawns coming through and a bit of afraid of teleport flank. The likes of Salty Sam and Jaded, who are now available. Inhibitor critically stays up for Horizon Light.
And remember, this was Deja Vu Academy with the Baron buff. They used it to try and get themselves leverage over that dragon fight. They don't get the dragon. They do at least end up getting a tower for their worth. But it's not the biggest Baron power play we will have seen. Now we're back to a point where we are somehow even in gold. After a huge gold lead came in from Horizon Light and a series of team fights went against the head and against them. Now we are at a point where we are pretty much even. Soul point for both teams. Very late soul coming in, and therefore the Elder Dragon 2. Let's see what these teams want to do in terms of lane assignment. Do they want to try and split out the map a bit more? But it's always risky when you do have a very high level Zac coming into a side lane with a huge range on the Elastic Slingshot, and people like Victor who don't really know how to deal with that on their own unless they have a tank with them.
See as well, the AD carries now even in items. Mid lane significantly in favor of the Victor, who has a Void Staff 4th item, and there is still not, I believe, a completed Zhonya's right now for Nico. These are pretty big discrepancies, especially when it is the damage dealers. Yes, they're still fairly squishy, don't get me wrong. But, frankly, if they get to stand and fire, it's Ezreal and half an Nico right now as far as damage goes for Horizon Light versus late game Ashe and Victor.
It is, we have to go back to that conversation about, well, who's using their leads well, who's using it safely. Uzi used it safely in that last fight, but he wasn't using it effectively. He was queuing over the wall, and don't get me wrong, Ezreal Q is on a very low cooldown if you are hitting it, but it's not the same as actually just continually auto-attacking. Using your passive, which gives you that increased attack speed. You don't have the on-hit for Blade of the Ruined King, but you have a lot of damage. You need to be fighting front to back effectively. And at this point, it's like the Nothla has been doing that better in the last couple of team fights.
Also worth pointing out now that Zhonya's is finally complete for Nico. That's
upgradable.
Good news for, yeah, and of course it is upgradable. That's a big deal right now. We've only really seen...
Well, there's the redemption.
This is a salvation upgrade, exactly, has come in, but really you want your second upgrade on the carry, right, if you can help it. There's still no upgradable item in Zac's inventory, and it's not going to be the death cap upgrade for Nico either. Zhonya's Paradox is... It's alright. Honestly, the additional armor, more than anything, is the biggest deal.
Yeah, but then you're taking magic damage from the Victor. You're taking magic damage from the Sejuani. I guess you care about if you're diving onto Ashe and she manages to escape and turn this around.
Sure, exactly.
But honestly, Nico doesn't want defensive stats because she shouldn't be taking damage if the combo goes well. You have a shield from your ult. You want to be stunning people up, and that's when the team fight should end for you. But Jaded has had a couple of earlier game crucial ultimates. Not found it in the last couple, though. He does have Flash for this next fight, has Teleport for a flanking opportunity. The next one might decide the game, so it needs to stick really, really hard from Jaded.
Again, we had this conversation in the pregame where both of us were saying, if Victor and Ashe get free fire in late game, there is going to be an issue in terms of DPS difference. It's kind of proving to be that way a little bit. We are going to head into a game pause here. Deja Vu Academy dealing with a little bit of lag from the side of Mega Balls. And, hopefully that'll be resolved as soon as it can be. We'll be back into game. Nearly 40 minutes in. Ocean Soul point for both of these squads. It's really damn close.
Is it a regular problem for people's Mega Balls to be lagging?
May well be.
Let me have this conversation.
I might replace that L with another letter.
So what?
Never mind. It's very inappropriate.
Good. Okay.
Alright. So,
Mega Balls? Mega...
Just never mind. You know what?
Okay,
you stay there and you be nice and innocent. We'll move on.
Mega Balms?
Always a possibility.
Have you had a particularly bad burn recently? Do you need a balm for that?
I think I'll be getting you some of that because clearly you need it to deal with the charcoal your mind has become burnt out from too much League of Legends casting.
Oh, isn't that right?
Still worth pointing out here, there has not been an upgrade on this Nico yet. She's had that zombies for a moment or two yet, so I've got to ask. Sam, what are you doing?
farming sidelines. He's doing more important things in life.
Is it really?
I mean, I do it, so it must be. Must be true.
I'm not sure I take that wisdom to heart, guys. Like, don't take him too seriously, guys. It's not good for anyone.
Yeah, no, that's a life tip for you right there. Okay, right, minute up on Dragon, 24 seconds up on Baron when we come back into play. There's a lot of big objectives coming up.
Big time.
If someone gets Ocean Soul, that's probably game. It makes the team fights, which have been very even, very hard to finish off. Of course, there's always the chance you get just a glorious combo from one team to the other, and you catch out a carry, and the game ends that way. Looks like we've got the ready pings coming out from both members, both team members. So hopefully, back to the game soon and seeing how that actually plays out, though.
And on to the Rift we go. Horizon Light already in setup mode around this Ocean Drake that will be spawning in a minute. They are going to try and get down as many pink walls, hold court as fast as they can. They've lost the last couple team fights.
And they're backing off right now when they could be... Ezreal should not be clearing mid. You need Nico to clear that. Ezreal should be firing Qs right now. This is a bad decision because we've already seen them lose out on the poke war a couple of times. At least they've managed to upgrade Zhonya's Paradox now onto Jaded, but Ezreal's not here for this fight. If this is a cleanly initiated fight from Deja Vu, they will have nullified that poke advantage which Ezreal is supposed to bring you.
They appear to have lost the territory, no longer holding court in the river. Instead, that is now the territory of Deja Vu Academy, who are on wards. It's worth pointing out the sweeper still in inventory for the Sejuani, who hasn't used it as yet, and they are therefore on vision, which is a little frustrating, and it is giving kind of that at least slight eyesight for the Glacial coming out, the Spooky Ghost coming down, Zac looking for a flank position, but that means the jungler is not available to be here for a smite right now. And we've actually seen the Deja Vu Academy actually back down towards the south end of this river, and it's kind of just this stalemate. Battle Eyes draw Mithy into the backline now, not a stalemate for long. Ashe still alive, has to flash away, has not died. Stretching strikes land, will get pulled together. Now Kiss, says Zac, but he will fall down into blobs. The other side though, Lucas Bang Alter falls down to the Ezreal, but the jungler critically is dead. No smite for Horizon Light, but now the Chaos Storm has come down. It's not getting as much work as they like to do though. Ezreal shuts down Van Awful. He's dead, but Ashe has turned the favour onto the Alistair. Jaded stepping forward. It's a searing charge, and over the back of the wall, Jaded gets the kill. It's a team fight win finally for Horizon Light, who will secure themselves Ocean Soul. That might be the end, the death knell for Deja Vu Academy's attempted comeback.
Backline access once again. Not necessarily the cleanest engage. We were talking about, okay, maybe Deja Vu can get a clean engage. Well, they didn't obviously need to do that. It was the engage coming from Horizon Light. Mithy ends up really, really deep. That's why he goes down. Clifton has a Zeke's Convergence, which was buffing up the Ezreal, which meant that once he was getting into the thick of things and was able to get on top of the Ashe, also had a really slick E flash, which is something you can do on the Ezreal. If you just curse it out of range, E then flash, it will bring you to your cursor point. It's a really cool technique. He does get a huge amount of damage down in that fight, where we have been criticizing him for that before. It's a good job, Uzi. You managed to bring yourself a team fight win.
11, 2, and 10 on this Ezreal. The 2 deaths have been critical. Instead of the 11 kills and 10 assists,
they've been pretty okay.
They get themselves Ocean Soul, they get themselves Baron, and now the ball is back in their court, and we've got to ask that question. Deja Vu Academy, do you have what it takes to wrest control of this game back again?
Will be the question. Lord Dominic's regard built up for Ezreal is not going to be.
And Mercurial as well.
So he's actually at full build now. Huge amount of AD, which is very important, of course. We've talked about how he is the only AD on his team, really, occurs, or mainly magic damage. The Brittle procs being the source of his primary damage, and of course the Sunfire Cape helping with that too. Zac, all AP damage, all magic damage rather. And now we have a Void Staff in from Jada, significant damage, but you can still itemize towards most of the team towards that physical magic damage rather, and Ezreal needs to really be towing the line on the other end of things, but he certainly did in that last fight.
Secures himself
World is looking for an engage here.
But remember, there's not the rest of the team here. The Victor was clearing up that blue buff. There's up the Uzi, throws down the True Shot Barrage, and now Wilder will be on vision. Good ward there from the side of the So that was going to be another one of the 1-2-2 splits that we've seen from Horizon Light before, and this has been punished.
So dangerous. But this time with a cleanse available from Ezreal, a QSS available from Ezreal too, and that Mercurial Scimitar, and having the redemption maybe on Alistair, maybe that emboldens Horizon Light to try and get this 3-lane push and get the maximum value out of things.
Scout with his clone and continue to be shoving in all three lanes now coming through. Mithy drifting between bot and mid, trying to watch out flanks. The flank boards are now down for Horizon as well, which does help keep the flanking options for Deja Vu Academy more limited. Siege now commences onto the base of their Horizon Light. They tried this before, it went horribly wrong. This time they're being a little bit more patient, but I mean, they will be able to break into the base this time.
I think the way they'd have to do it, land a dive onto Victor very, very quickly with the Zac and just blow him up with the Nico. I think that's the only way you end up getting yourselves to a point where the Deja Vu Academy can't just wave clear for forever. They have cannons firing at towers, and at least Maokai can try and wave clear and stop one from walking from bashing the thing. It's really hard for actually most Horizon Lights to walk up to the towers, but Sejuani is threatening to engage.
You see that Nico at least throwing out those twin shadows, throwing out the GLPs, trying to buy time, and that will be a tower broken in mid.
Yeah, okay.
That's fairly good. That's fairly significant. In fact, it's more than fairly significant. It's very significant. They will not be able to get to the inhibitor, though, and we've still yet to see inhibitor fall in this game, despite the 3 Barons, I believe, we've seen.
And this is Horizon Light with an Ocean Soul. That's the ult thrown out from Sejuani. It lands nothing, and they're still full HP.
You can see Cliff just cleanses it away with his own ultimate and gets to walk on down now towards this bot lane. They're going to try and get that one as the top lane falls as well. Inhibitor mid down.
That's a Marco.
That's with the flash forward for the Glacial Prison. Jaded goes golden, gets a 3-man pop blossom a little more, and that was a massive gravity field to hold the Nico in place. Big knock up in response though. It'll be the 1 kill back and forth thus far. Ezreal running wild, wilder falls, as will the rest of the team. Ashe desperately trying to stay alive as the triple kill. I believe that might even be a quadra kill right now for Uzi, and he's looking for the pentakill. Van Offel will just about survive. Leandri's burn. Eat your heart out with a little bit of death dance to top it all off. And the pentakill denied.
But now you're left with just Ornn and Alistar. They can't even end the game.
They don't have Baron, it's finished.
Baron's just faded. They don't have the AD carry. They might take down bot lane inhibitor turret. I guess they will. That's a bit of an awkward throw there from Uzi.
It does seem to have the wave clear.
I think, well, he has the damage to threaten these guys to a certain tower. He has Void Staff, he has Death Cap. He's hugely strong.
Cliff does, in fact, have himself the Unbreakable Will again, so a little bit different, but they won't secure third inhibitor, which would have meant double super minions. Wouldn't have meant double super minions, which is the big one. So I think they can hold on, and we were looking for the highlight reel play, and Ezreal falls at the last moment there to a combined burn of Leandri's and Death Dance, and that might cost them.
Yeah, a couple of Qs go wide. That means the cooldowns aren't there, and the healing isn't there too. And then we have seen AD carries dash into Victors in famous situations before, and be punished for such things. Now, what this means, the lift of double. So now DVA have the ability to fight over this Elder Dragon 30 seconds. This could be their last chance saloon, but at least they have that last chance saloon, whereas before, maybe that would have been lights out.
They can leave Victor
Horizon lights out.
They can leave Victor behind because he has got teleport. He's got himself a death cap as well now. So he can keep wave clearing and look to teleport in when the fight commences.
I wonder if Horizon Light wants a backdoor with Jaded's TP.
Yeah,
he does have a lot. But when you have magic penetration, it does apply to towers too, and you have a large amount of AP, that also applies. Nico has her W passive, extra damage on towers, but they are just going to be starting this dragon. There's some Righteous Glory apart from Lucas.
Wilder goes in, but remember, Victor not quite here yet. The teleport now completed. There goes Mithy into the backline. It's on to Ashe, stopping her from auto attacking critically. Van Offel throws out a massive Chaos Storm. Jaded falls, Cliff goes in, headbutts away the Victor though, who's got a double already, but now Ezreal running rampant. The death rate is huge on upcoming music, but he's got enough healing right now, and that Victor falls. So does Ezreal though, and now it's Mar 1996 versus the double tanks. The Bloblet's out, and that will be a team fight wash right now, and with the kill on Mithy.
Almost, oh, so close.
Mithy did not manage to get the smite down. Salty Sam versus the Ashe, and it is carry versus tank.
Wait. The minions are still hitting the Nexus.
Exactly,
turrets.
The Nexus turrets are going down, and this Ashe
that's one of them down.
Is fallen down, and that is probably the only serious victory right now. The other Nexus turret very, very low, and so Salty Sam might look to come over and just backdoor this. Can Ashe even stop this? That tower is on no HP at all. A whisper of wind will blow it down. Staying standing right now, but that tower's foundations are crumbling under the weight of minion pressure.
Horizon Light are struggling to get clean team fights now. It's a huge amount of work coming in from Braum and from Victor to just disengage how they can and stop some of these tanks from getting the maximum value of their engages. Ezreal struggling to get past the Chaos Storm, struggling to tank up stuff like the Death Ray and, of course, the Siphon Power from the Victor. And while all this is happening, you see that Uzi focused onto Vanoffel, gets the kill, but Ashe is untouched, and she has enough damage, which with her full build has gotten to that point of the game, almost 50 minutes in, where she can start carrying the back end of these teamfights too.
We're just going to do it again. Round 2 fight. The problem is there is no Victor TP this time. He's got to clear waves in mid. And remember, that is one Nexus. Sorry, it's not even a Nexus. Sorry. It's like a it's like a sandcastle. That's what you've got remaining defending your Nexus. It's that low HP as Wilder went very deep to try and secure that Skull Crab and didn't quite manage it.
Quite manage. He does have Warmog, so at least if he managed to make it out, would have been full HP for the next attempt. Narco is stuck in top lane. They need to try and bait out that teleport. The question is, when do they channel it? When are they doing it? They have the third level ult onto Clifton Gazium, but Ezreal is not in the fight. He's not throwing out Qs. They've given Deja Vu's first crack at this objective.
That is the Glacial
Teleporting the base!
They're teleporting the base. They're going to try to hold them down. That is all in the backside. Remember, it's the Sandcastle, but now the full V5 can they win it? Mark gets the kill, but they need to think about stopping as Jaded's teleported in as well. Uzi just needs to buy time. The Ashe are out. They're trying to get back, but they can't retreat. And Horizon Light with heroics might just about manage it. It's going to try and buy as much time as they can. Remember that other another inhibitor, I apologize, on a very low cooldown. It's not enough. The teleport backdoor around the Elder will secure Horizon Light. They'll call that one easy, I'm sure.
They were made to sweat.
Sweat? I feel like they lost most of their body weight. They're going to need a serious trip to the hospital to pick up some fluids after that one.
That's the horse riding jockeys going to the sauna to lose all their body weight in sweat before they go to the race. That is what that was. Oh, God, okay. Making us, getting the most mileage out of our voices too while
Good Lord, Victor.
Victor casually coming in at over 1,000 DPM, had 72,000 damage in 50 minutes, and had triple just about the damage in Eco.
That Jaded did have a rough one that game. It didn't matter though in the end. Horizon Light just about secured it. Ezreal as well doing a lot of work. But with that, see Horizon Light move to 2-0 in this series, even if Deja Vu Academy came back swinging. See how this series plays out and whether Horizon Light will make it a clean 3-0, whether Deja Vu Academy can pull out the win in the third game and keep their series hopes alive. Well, stick around and see how it plays out.
He's the day here on to Mithy, but here comes the response. Pop Blossom over the wall from Jaded. Teleport coming in as well. That'll be Lil Cloud joining the fight. Mithy actually going really low, might go down and does. But Cliff is on a killing spree. Lucas into the backside, delaying the fight pretty significantly. This isn't too bad for Deja Vu. Vanoffel only just arriving though, and that's such a significant portion of their damage output. Lucas is deep into the fight. Mithy actually going down early, but here comes Jaded. Pop Blossom goes down. That's one more kill for the Nico. Another one going to be taken down by the Blooming Burst. The hook comes back in. That brings both the remaining members of Deja Vu in this fight back into the fight. Will be taken away by the showstopper. Meanwhile, Mithy is doing all kinds of damage. Upcoming Uzi untouched in this fight as well. Autumn's dead. Vanoffel is the only one remaining, condemned into the wall, taken down. It's a double kill for Lil Cloud.
Gonna be popped, but the trap does stop him. Oh, the two-man ends up, and the Shen comes in. That means they're just gonna burst down 3 players from PW. They're just
Or in range for a combo, but in range is
Oh,
Maokai.
flash! Lucas flashes in to get the Nature's Grasp onto the Volibear, who's out of position. He doesn't quite reach over the wall with his ulti, but has the flash over. Anyways, Nocturne does go in to try and kill Z-Man, but it isn't enough. Z-Man's just sitting back using the Archer's Focus to try and get as much damage as possible. He flashes in to try and get the slow eat. Sivir ulti is dropped along with the Stand United. The 3-man flash on! The Titanic Hydra damage is huge onto the backline. The Victor and Caitlyn are just running away from the Shen, but it does look like that the 3 Lulu and the Caitlyn are going to be dropped.
The last time these two teams faced one another, Horizon Light managed to beat Deja Vu Academy 2-0. Now Deja Vu Academy are looking to get their revenge and defeat Horizon Light in the finals for that all-important promotion to Division 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Valence League Split 3 Division Finals.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after Horizon Light in a nail-biting back-and-forth game secured their second win of this Division 3 finals here in Split 3 of Valence League. But before we go any further, it is worth pointing out we have, in fact, got a substitution coming in. Little Cloud will be replacing Mithy on the side of Horizon Light.
And on the side of Deja Vu Academy's Lil Sephiroth. Oh, no. Damn. Shame.
You've also seen on the other side, though, that there's some big shifts for Deja Vu Academy. The bot lane has been subbed out. Z-Man Jr. is in on the bot side alongside Jazza. So, big shifts for both these squads. Obviously felt that this is the changes they need to make. Deja Vu Academy already had made some shifts, of course, coming into this series. It hasn't worked out thus far. Even the last one was close. Of course, we'll see that Deja Vu Academy are onto the blue side again this time out.
Yeah, so changed rosters for both teams. See, that changes a lot of dynamics. We saw last game was a lot about instinctive team fighting. You see what's kind of happening, you make the call, and you just try and see what floats up amongst the muck which you've put yourself into. Neither team consistently pulled off those team fights. That's why it was long, that's why it was interesting, that's why Sam gets to have a full run-through of all his vocal cords capabilities.
Yeah.
But maybe these teams are now gone to the drawing board and said, alright, so on the side of Deja Vu, they are there saying, okay, we are 0-2, whatever we did with our roster hasn't worked for the first two games, although it was close in game 2. Whereas on the side of Horizon Light, they're thinking, okay, maybe we can give some people some experience, maybe some stage experience if they're looking to play with some of these players in the division up in Division 2 if they were to win, and of course gives themselves maybe some extra strategic options if they do think that red side drafting for some of their champion pools is changed in this way.
Okay, so we'll have to see how this all plays out. Of course, it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. And at this point, remember, Horizon Light are at match point. This would be their victory, their ascension into Division 2. They only need one more win out of a potential next 3 games.
I didn't know that Ascension was the game mode they needed to play to get into.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it is. Much like the old Challengers career used to have blind pick game 5. We have, when you're at your match point, you've got to play Ascension. We drag it out of the archives and then force people to play it. No practice. They didn't even know. I'm just telling them now.
It's like, didn't the mid-season cup between Korea and China have blind pick for game 1 of the best of 5s?
Something like that.
I think they ended up doing that, which was really cool. Because, I mean, at a pro level, blind pick is such a mess, but it is really cool to see, because there's particularly in the current meta, there's no real, this draft wins every game. And if there was, both teams would pick it, no one would have to pick anything different. There's stuff like Caitlyn, but it's not like Caitlyn is completely unanswerable either.
No, like Caitlyn is very powerful, assuming you can secure her play conditions. I wouldn't even call them win conditions. I call them play conditions. Like
let her push lane. Like let her recall and reset when she wants, and don't ever upset her laning phase.
Yeah, and she needs to be playing at the enemy turret. Like that's the way it needs to be. If
enemy turret, but also having the tools to counter gank when that obviously draws the attention of whoever's roaming bot.
So you just need your jungler to say, I need to sack off top side of the map, and I just need to be here.
Also applies if you have a Galio or a TF, on the ground, or a Shen, right? Shen. Because so much of the higher level of League of Legends is currently how much of a shit show can we make bot lane? It is about who can respond appropriately to those kind of fights. We talked about global top laners, Gangplank, Shen. Of course, there's a laning matchup dynamic in there too, where it's like, oh, they picked Shen, so Gangplank survives into that and scales. But then also performs somewhat of the similar global role, at least managing to exert some presence across the map. Having junglers which can power farm very quickly and therefore pseudo be global as long as they path well because they're not on their camps and therefore they can be in your lanes. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff around that hanging around in the meta which can upset these huge fights which can happen any time from like a couple of minutes into the game through to the late game.
Kind of speaking around bot side focus, I guess, is kind of part of where we stemmed that conversation from. It was another very strong game from upcoming Uzi. He had a great Ashe performance in game 1. He had a very strong Ezreal performance in game 2, even if a couple of the deaths were instrumental in Deja Vu Academy's resurgence in the game. But now we're into picks and bans for this potential deciding match. See whether we can pull it off again. And I've also got a question, like, the backline access.
Oh yes, that thing which we wore out to death.
Well, it was a little bit kind of disjointed. Ezreal was kind of stuck attacking the front line a lot of the time, while Mithy would go diving in. It's like, guys, where are the rest of you? I'm attacking Ashe and force her flash and exhaust. Is anybody gonna come and do damage? No? Oh, okay. I need to see a little bit more coordination in these big team fights, particularly when it comes to prioritizing who we're trying to get onto.
We see the Shen ban coming out again. Everything else has been permanently banned throughout the series. The one thing we're waiting for from Horizon Light is Ivern.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's targeted or something which Deja Vu have practiced a lot. Either way, like I said, that Tarek and Ivern both really good in funnel kind of compositions. Something we are yet to see out of Deja Vu, but it also helps that back-to-front kind of team fighting, like this whole ultimate dependent peel for your backline with a tank frontline composition, which of course we saw on stage for 50 minutes last game.
Oh, yes.
Caitlyn once again banned away by Deja Vu on blue side. Of course, the losing team gets to choose side for this game. Let's pick Urgot.
Been left open. He's fine. It's one of the carry-oriented top laners he does play outside of things like Shen and the Ornn, which is significantly more defensive, I guess is the way I'll phrase them. Engage obviously on those options too, but this has a little bit more lane pressure. See now what the first picks will be now for Horizon Light. Remember, the Victor is still up, and Van Offel did monstrous things. That's what I'm not sure what Maokai's Urgot's going to look like, honestly.
I think it's going to be looking like solo kills, if I'm honest. That is not a matchup which I would particularly favour.
Nope.
Can go towards an early Bramble Vest, and you can Twisted Advance his Distinct.
Yes.
You can buffer that and not get hit by it. You can just save that cooldown. But if you have to save it, that means that Urgot gets to trade onto you for free with the Corrosive Charge, stuff like that. Nautilus locked in for Callisto Gazium. That makes me think maybe there's something like Kai'Sa coming through. That's one thing which works pretty well with that kind of comp. What do Deja Vu want to round out their first bans?
Gotta be the Victor before it gets banned out, surely. Van Offel had a fantastic game the last time out. Jazza, of course, needed a support role in this season, picking up the Leona.
And I have to say, I do feel for Ziaman and Jazza, because subbing into a team that's 0-2 down, mentally that is a minefield to work through. Don't get me wrong, it could be a huge bonus to you because it's like, my time is now, big gameplay. That can be one of the things that goes through your head. But on the other side of it, if a play goes wrong, if you've got those feelings of doubt in the back of your head already, they just start to fester and start to grow. So, besides on the mentality, let's see what is picked for them as the dual lane. Leona, of course, you already said that was locked in. It's a decent pick into the Nautilus too, because Leona can catch out enemy supports very, very well. If they step up looking to engage, one Solar Flare removes the support from the equation. You go in too deep, and you're going to have a Cassiopeia putting down the
What season are we in? It's looking like season 6 all over again. Victor versus Cassiopeia in the mid. Then again, this is still season 10, and it could be flex spot, I suppose, if upcoming Uzi is being confident.
It can do. I don't particularly like Cassiopeia into Leona in a bot lane sense.
No,
but
I kind of grant
it depends what happens. It depends what happens with the early carry. I mean, if you pick something like a Callista, then yeah, you can just put that Cassiopeia down a bot lane, and then you put the W and it doesn't get to play the game.
And the Nautilus goes, thank you for the freest dredge line ever. So
exactly.
Definitely well to that. They're going to focus in on, interestingly, onto AD carries here, because of course they've still got first pick on for the second phase.
Deja Vu are also respecting the fact that this cast could go into bot lane. They don't want to see Jada go towards an AD mid laner, which famously he does play that Talon. Last time we cast him, he was in their loss 3-1 last split.
Oh, it was so frustrating.
It was so frustrating for them, and of course we do feel for them losing that kind of fashion when Jada was actually very, very dominant in that series too. At least now has the chance to redeem himself from last split's failures. The Ivern was not picked up.
Maokai's rival just taken off the board. There will be no other trees. There is only one.
What about Zyra?
She's on a tree. Come on now.
Trees are plant.
Just so ignorant, honestly. I'm sorry you have to listen
Vines.
to that. Trees don't necessarily have vines. They tend to have vines grow on.
Well-
They're not actually vines.
Plants, Sam. Plants. What else? I don't know. Like,
Sounds like your mind's addled by a few plants right now, frankly. Zarellia was banned out
I'll have to weed out which ones they are. Wait, really? Do it.
He knows who's casting. Jaded knows.
Do it. Oh.
That was a little bit of a shout out, I can guarantee it. And instead, it's Pike.
That's my first down payment from the pyramid scheme.
Where's this Pike going? Is this going to be Nautilus mid?
No, this will probably be Pike mid. Pike mid, it works pretty well in stuff like Victor that wants to stay in scale. You push out, you get yourself a Tiamat, you push, and you roam away from mid lane.
You leave it. Never return. You get Tiamat and you run away.
It could, I mean, this could potentially be something like a Nautilus jungle. I don't know what Lil Cloud has been playing himself. Check out Lil Cloud, recent match history, has not played anything funky like Nautilus. Just have to check.
Alright, still got this final pick to go through as Sivir was the AD carry that was decided upon for Deja Vu Academy.
Run at them engage comp. I appreciate that.
I mean, honestly, it also is pretty great with something like a Leona because it just means you can always then keep her in range of something like Zenith.
Trundle I got, which are kind of adjacent to the Juggernaut class.
Yes.
Where you the failing of that class of champions is their ability to stick to a target. The on the hunt can give you that extra movement speed to stay on top of someone like a Marco or a Cassiopeia that's going to run away from the fight. Someone that can run into a fight very, very quickly is an Olaf, but Trundle is a counter pick to that champion at the pro level. In that case, not going to pick it, I'm going to pick Lee Sin instead.
That's a pretty bold one right here. There are a couple very immobile targets that can be kicked. Victor and Sivir, gloriously without dashes and flashes. Of course, you can, if you're really damn good, look to try and do something like Spell Shield the kick, but you have to be very quick on the time.
You do. Well, you need to preempt it, because as soon as you're in that animation, you are CC'd. You don't get to react to it, which is why the QSS Flash is so important against that ability. So, Lee Sin, at least we'll be able to kick out someone like a Leona, Urgot, or a Trundle. And with the HP they have, if they do manage to land on the back line, besides just the knock-up, it's also a decent amount of damage, because Lee Sin's kick does do damage based on the target that you picked HP. So if you kick a Stone Plate Shogath through the enemy team, it does get benefit. Same way that Settle does it. What that does mean is that between Maokai and Lee Sin, there is an amount of disengage from the side of Horizon Light, and we have to talk about that. With stuff like the Orianna from off in game 1, we talked about the Ornn in a couple of games from both 2, and that's going to be very important with the lower range brawling front line of DVA this game.
And on the other side, though, Horizon Light, as we said, have managed to. We was like Cassiopeia, but we kind of called it a possibility. It did end up down there. On the side, though, for Deja Vu, of course, their front to back is exceptionally strong. They've got the kind of two bruisers, I suppose, in Trundle and Urgot. They've got a Leona for engage. Victor and Sivir is a hell of a lot of teamfight AoE DPS.
And they also have the CC lock to deal with something like a Pyke. So Leona is one of the champions that does well against Pyke in bot lane, because Pyke is really annoying if you don't have enough CC to just 100-0. Because he just backs off, recovers 70% of the damage you just took anyway, or whatever it is at max level.
It's dumb.
It's so stupid. It's also one of the reasons why he can be played in mid lane, because he's low range, doesn't have a great amount of wave clear, but he can just continually come back into lane, roam back to lane with W and stuff like that. I wonder if it's going to be Halo Blades or Predator. There are a couple of rooms you can go in that.
Yeah,
played it a little bit myself. I actually played against one recently, which went really bad because of jungle. Awful jungle diff.
Okay.
But yeah, Pyke does have a number of different options you can go towards, and that just depends on the playstyle. Okay, right.
So, seen both draft. It's fairly standard for Deja Vu Academy in the grand scheme of things. Very easy to see what they want to play off. Strong lanes in terms of wave clear, if nothing else, I feel. On the other side, though, a lot of playmaking, a lot of pick, a lot of ways to catch people out, but a little bit more unusual as far as the draft goes. Is game point Horizon Light, but they were made to, we said sweat in the last game. Who are you favouring?
Who am I favouring? I think if nameplate's on, I think I'd give it over to Horizon Light. I think that they've been more coordinated as a team. I do think with nameplates off, though, I do like what DVA have got. I think that the Pyke can find it really hard diving into someone like a Leona and a Trundle and the Urgot with his ult too. So I think that it will require that coordination, which we've seen in particularly in Game 1 and also to a lesser extent Game 2 when it did go very late when things were not as quite so clean. So yeah, there's a lot of tools available to both teams. Trundle Pill are going to be very, very important. I think that Jazzer and Z-Man coming in, subbing in, going to be instrumental in their own way too.
Okay, that'll be a question to see. Or work out whether it does play out that way. Because, I mean, on the other side, of course, Deja Vu Academy have got a lot of ways that Leona in particular good into things like not bad into something like a Lee Sin either.
Well,
honestly,
if Pyke, Nautilus, Lee Sin dive into the team and Leona is there, they get stunned up, and there's a good chance that Vanoffel and Z-Man can just completely shred them.
That is exactly. On the other side, though, if of course, if upcoming Uzi gets the free fire on Cassiopeia, it'll be Conqueror Cassiopeia bot most likely. You can do some pretty scary damage.
I think Phase Rush is really good versus this comp.
You think? Yeah.
If you get pillared, you need the Phase Rush to ignore the slow and also run away from the low range front line of DVA.
But at that, we're going to cut to this video for what could be our final game of the series. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're onto the rift. We're waiting to sync up what could be our final game of this Division 3 Finals. Horizon Light lead 2 over Deja Vu Academy, but they've pulled out something a little crazy for this, what could be their last game. Substitutes have come in, picks have come in, and it's all to play for here on the rift. And I've got to ask if Deja Vu got what it takes to bring back at least a game in this series.
Yeah, of course, it does depend very much on the early game when you have a Lee Sin involved, and of course the Trundle, both able to gank at level 2, level 3, amongst other things. We pause at 10 seconds. Blaze, when you're ready, please count us in.
And with that word of announcement, we're going to get on with the game. Synced up and ready to play. Looking like we're going to see the level 1 play from the side of Horizon Light, who have grouped up as 5 and are looking to pull off that bottom bush invade that has become so notorious over the last season.
So many invades are about can your level 1 support do enough to the enemy team? They're going to hug the wall, but this doesn't matter. Z-Man's done his homework, put the ward in. Tribrush has the teleport, by the way, looking to reset. And they now have seen the 5-man stack of Horizon Light. See what Sivir wants to do. I'm not sure you want to be there, buddy, because he is still sat in that brush. He's got a fair amount of distance left, though.
Back to the way, having spotted the rest of the crew walking over. And on the other side, you can see Deja Vu Academy have responded in kind and got in some of those deep wards that, honestly, Horizon Light haven't done. They've got one ward in that Tribrush, and that is it right now.
I think they're looking to stick around and secure this objective. The red buff, first buff of the game. And what that means is that we're likely to have some form of vertical jungling. This is quite important because, of course, Sivir is relatively weak in the early game until you get level 2, level 3 when you have your spell shield. And this opens up the opportunity for Lee Sin to level 2 gank bot.
Jazza is hanging around, really looking to try and get something, but Leona would have to go in to get that, and I just don't think it's a good idea. Question mark King comes out from Horizon Light, and Lee Sin is left to his own devices to secure the first buff of the game there. Wilder will be looking to return the favour, going up to Lee Sin's red one. It will be, as far as we can tell, vertical jungling, unless Lee Sin looks for something a little bit crazy in mid lane.
So they do have a ward on their own red buff to Horizon Light. So they will see Trundle appearing at his own buff now. Lee Sin has chosen not to go for the Raptors. You don't have so much AoE at level 2 even because you don't level up your E until level 3. He's going to go get his... Actually, no, he's not taking his blue buff. He is immediately heading over to his own red buff, maybe looking to catch out Wilder. He's going this way too late.
But Pyke is coming up. There is no blast comb. This Trundle may have to flash. That's it, but now Lee Sin kind of left in a bit of an awkward spot. At least the flash blown. I think you didn't need Lee Sin to come up there to blow the flash.
I agree. I think that he should have stuck around for Raptors. I think that even though it's slower, you do take away another camp from the enemy jungle. And then you can maybe go towards Krugs into bot lane gank. I know that maybe Leona at level 2 can start disrupting you with that, but I think that would have been the best way to put pressure onto the lanes of DVA. We are left with a slight advantage Wilder over Little Cloud, who of course has been subbed in for Mithy, who was such a superb Zac in that last game. The Lee Sin, as opposed to that team fighting late game jungler, have a lot more gank potential. At least now.
Lee takes his own Raptors, then returns back to blue, but has left Trundle with free reign of his own jungle right now. We've got Scuttle Crab spawning in about 10-15 seconds, and that will be good news for both junglers, as Lee Sin will be looking to try and secure that bot side scuttle and make sure this Cassiopeia gets off the start. I think Horizon Light needed.
So we do see teleport, as we said, onto Sivir. It's not going to be the heal or anything like that. And of course, it's the phase rush on the cast. We talked about it. Okay, against Trundle, phase rush is just worth so much. Also applies to Leota if you manage to cast a couple of spells while she gets on top of you between the CC log. It means you can just run out from a couple of these melee range damage.
Trundle did try to come and contest that bottom scuttle crab while we were chatting there as well, and did manage to get it. I believe that was secured by Lee Sin, so that's nice stuff by Horizon Knight, who've managed to secure bot side pressure, at least for now. And you can see as well, Sivir has burnt a lot of her mana trying to secure something resembling wave clear. That's the phase, the Phantom Undertow, I apologize, straight through, but the gravity well is pretty strong as well. Ignite down onto Van Offel though, who's taking a lot of damage in the 1v1. One final bone skewer goes wide with the flash out for Van Offel, and now Jaded has to back away, but does get the summoner out of Van Offel.
Doesn't charge, doesn't use the tap Q, it's the flash away from Victor, but now with Trundle here, things are getting dangerous.
Okay, that will be the bone skewer into the Phantom Undertow, and beautiful BM mechanics from Jada there. No emotes necessary, this ain't NA, we go old school here in EU.
You too can have this amount of swag if you join the Naded clan tag, so I've heard.
I'm gonna look for this another hook. Maybe if they can find it. Of course, Lee Sin around can find something there. Not a lot of mana left on Van Offel. Trying to force him out of lane early so we can't get that Hex Core upgrade. Right now, though, he's still under tower. Be able to secure stuff here.
So there's a cold coming in from the Urgot. Really impactful, but there's a hook looking for the hook in bot lane. Doesn't choose to go for it. Maybe just a little bit afraid of the spell shield or the Leona turnaround.
And remember, Z-Man not with the most amount of mana here, but with the being a little suspect. Still managed to get enough of the wave here. They have to look to reset soonest though, because of course that mana deficit is going to get problematic.
Van Offel is not reset, worth noting. He's being stuck under tower, has no pressure right now, and it's still stuck at relatively low HP. You really want to back on the first Hex Core as Victor, so having those big trades early, kind of problematic. And also, you look at Victor, you look at Pyke rather, way too much HP to even trade all of your mana into him and look for a kill. So Jaded, very happy with his lane state right now, and is close to his ultimate.
Indeed, not just that, remember, this is a Pyke that should be down in CS to the control mate. Like, you don't expect Pyke to farm that well, and he's doing pretty well.
But it's not like 10,
exactly,
15
that's kind of what I meant. Like he's down 5 CS, but I
level
expect
6 now, actually, once he kills that...
Cannon, assuming he kills it. I think he might have missed that though. Which
well, no, you still get the XP if he dies near you, so it doesn't matter.
But he didn't secure Cannon though, from what we saw, or at least the camera cut away, and that's shame on Jaded.
Well, neither did the Salty Sam.
No.
So in my eyes, at least Horizon Light, that's their first loss of the series.
Aren't you quite famous on stream?
Yes. Very much so. Very much so.
All the while that's going on though, Trundle solos out the early ocean, which can be quite tough. But actually, level 6 has been hit for Pyke. There is no flash. No mana. And wait, what? Van Offel survived that. He manages to step away. Now Jaded is about to go down here as Wilder walks up and gets the auto. First blood to Van Offel after what looked like a brilliant outplay by the Pyke.
You didn't need to ult early. He has no mana, has no flash. He doesn't take into account the Q shield coming in. He goes for an extra auto, just doesn't.
Q shield's cancelled by Pyke. He goes straight through
yes,
shield.
No, but he's trying to get the last auto, and it goes through the Pyke shield, and then he goes to the ult after. Sivir dies, lets in.
That is a pretty big one, but remember there's level 6 on the top side, and there is still the execute from him. Fear Beyond Death is surely about to be procced. And this Bang Alter gets the solo kill on the top side.
That's kind of what we thought this matchup was going to go. Like, Urgot does really well into tanks, and so Salty Sam picked this into him. You could have gone for something a little bit more survivable. Didn't, well, no, actually, I mean, just anything which isn't a Maokai.
Ain't so much a meat grinder on Urgot as it is a wood chipper this time out. Maokai shredded to make up some sawdust in the top lane after the ult comes through, and the kill is secured. Cull onto this Urgot as well, who's very happy with this matchup right now.
This is really interesting. Early lane swap by DVA to put Victor down to bot lane versus what looks to be the Maokai putting himself down there. He has teleport. Oh, Jaded is caught out, but he has the Phantom Undertow.
So hard to catch.
It is, and most of the time, Trundle really, really good at going ganking mid. Just not versus someone like Pyke who has that mobility available to him once he hits level 2, level 3.
Yeah. Trundle's great into things like control mates, where he can basically, people who don't have the easiest dashes, you can punish. And that's kind of like what a lot of mid laners end up being. Short lane, it's one of the few lanes where you can get away with a champion, generally speaking. So mobility is Jaded. finds a hook onto Zima. The turnaround is there. You can see the attempted start at the Herald, but the flash. Zenith Blade gets onto Cliff. Now in trouble. That's a fantastic petrifying engage. The exhaust now up onto coming Uzi though. Cliff still very, very low. Now Lil Cloud on the backside of this in trouble. Lucas bang also doing all the way. Z-Man Jr. goes down to the
well, he has a reset too. They can keep this fight up.
Keep going. You can see Pike coming in from behind. Jazz is so low. Double kill for Pike, and that time the gold bounty goes over to 2. Triple kill to Jaded. Make it a quadra early on. This time the ults land, and suddenly there is a 3,000 gold lead as Mercenary Pike knocks a few names off the list.
Fizz had a Medjai's, but this time it's Pike's own personal death note he brings to the frame. But Jaded, no,
dude! Shut down to Van Awful as Jaded was feeling his oats a little bit there and gets punished for it. There's a teleport coming in as well, and they're thinking about punishing this.
There's a fear beyond
death. There is. You can see the little cloud has to get out the back of it, but that will be a secure on the Ripto by Ergot! That's a Salty Sam is now in trouble. Fear Beyond Death will secure a second kill onto the tree. 5-5 in kills as Cliff lands a hook on his Z-Man Tree, but they're still going to try and push this around. Jaded has respawned, but is still trying to get out of the fountain. Recall from Little Cloud. It's a double to Ergot at 3, 1, and 1.
Okay, I know.
Wait, Z-Man, why are you there? You're going to get hooked, Jaded! Gets another kill. Right. The Herald will sell mid, that's plates over, and the gold lead that was pretty significant for Horizon Light has been leveled to about 500. They're going to try and get a little bit more out of this, but Jaded will try and secure at least the eye on this one. Bone Skewer being charged, and that felt like that was onto Jazzer actually, but it doesn't quite come through. Dust has settled. The Benny Hill theme has stopped. The clown paint has come down. The circus has ended at least for a minute. Next act will begin shortly, but until that point, you've got to break this down, man. Tell me about the glorious place we just witnessed.
Did you say break down? Because I'm breaking down.
Alright, I'm gonna need, I'm opening our applications for a new color caster because this one is broken. So anybody in chat, drop me a DM because this one, I've got to find somebody because I don't think Nightmare is fit to cast anymore.
This one's dysfunctional.
He's done.
Oh, God. Oh, it starts with Jaded fishing for the pentakill. He tries to get himself out of vision by activating his W to get himself that health regen. Doesn't do it. Dies. Doesn't have his ult reset anyway. So, yeah, Van Awful picks up a hefty shutdown, even though a load of gold came in from the cut from Jaded's ult. And then everything goes from bad to worse, because Horizon Light stick on the Herald while they have really low health bars, and the Fear Beyond Death hadn't been used, and the teleport hadn't been used there from the Urgot. He comes in, closes up the fight, but then Z-Man throws things right back with just by looking for a kill onto Cassiopeia and Tara. I want to see how much damage, how much ult gold's come in from Jaded's ult. He's got an extra 2,000 gold for his team onto his ult so far. 900 said for his allies, 1,200 saved for himself, which has meant that he has a Tiamat and he has an Umbral Glaive too, because he has vision control ready for this objective.
That is the pillar. There is no flash, but he just managed to walk his way around. That was actually a fabulous petrifying gaze, but now Little Cloud on the backside is in trouble. That's a kick forward, but he's still going to go down. Solar Flare now out as well, and Jazza is in trouble, but Pike is going around the backside. He's onto Lucas Bang also. He gets the kill onto Leona, but now he gets a double onto the Leona as well. We're going to see Lucas Bang also survive the death from below, and he will be secured by Van Awful with the death ray. So Salty Sam will secure the shutdown. The hook is massive onto Van Awful, flashing away, but a final auto will not secure it. Death ray comes out. Van Awful falls, but that is still the... Well, I'm not sure how many people died. Quite a lot, frankly, at the end of it all. But Clifton Gaze and upcoming Uzi are the two that get to survive and try and take down this Air Drake, as the healing from Cassiopeia is enough to allow this one to be taken out fairly swiftly. Shield comes up from Cliff. Dragon is secured, and it is a one-team fight for Horizon Light, even if it got bloody messy.
It absolutely did, and there were still another 2 ult kills for the Pike. So it's now gone up from, instead of having just 2,000 coming in from that ultimate, it's now 3,250 gold coming in from the death from below. On the other side, though, Van Awful once again gets out with a lot of gold himself. Picks up that last kill into Salty Sam, and that means that this team is once again not out of sight. The victor can be their savior in the later team fights, and particularly because he can burst someone out, and then the Fear Beyond Death can bring someone back into the team. If you get a Flash Fear onto the team of Horizon Light, maybe that would be enough to secure their later game prospects.
Okay, so I think, if I have timed my death times correctly, I believe that was a 5-3 in favor of Horizon Light, but the respawners are so low at this point in the game, because Van Offel died, Wilder died, Bang Alter died, Z-Man died, Jazza died. We saw Jaded fall eventually, Little Cloud did fall down, so Salty Sam went for the 1-for-1.
It was just Uzi and Cliff left alive, and that's the Salty Sam.
Oh, God.
They did die in the last fight. Playing with fire once again.
Alright, well, that did at least get Maokai back into the game, who was a little bit in a bit of a tricky spot. And the gold is actually in favour, interestingly, of the Maokai just about right now.
It's the cut from Pyke.
It's the cut from Pyke, exactly. He has managed to give the side of Horizon Light a 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. It's pretty huge. They're skirmishing well, even if it is bloody right now. And, you know, the fact that kills have ended up on Victor should be concerning. The fact that this Urgot is going to have a great matchup with the Maokai should be concerning.
It's also
but the Sivir being 0-4-4 is also really damn concerning.
It is, and also, Pyke, when you play him in solo lanes...
No, here we go again. The flash out from the Phantom Hunter is pretty huge. Out of the gravity field goes Pyke as well with the Ghost Water Dive. Flash from Trundle, though, and the jungle is becoming a scary place for this Trundle.
It is. Solo lane Pyke should not be this fed. Solo lane Pyke should be down in XP. He is currently up in XP, about half a level.
He's up in CS.
He's up in CS, or thereabouts, but within a wave, and that's fine. And then he also has himself 5 Ultimate Hunter stacks. He also has himself almost level 2 of his ultimate. By the way, Pyke's ultimate, when you level it up, does not increase the damage threshold. It does not increase anything to do with it besides its cooldown. That is how important it is for this champion to have ultimate cooldown reduction. He managed to get a bone skewer onto Leona, and actually he's doing significant damage. He's doing all his own stunts this game.
Well, who needs a stuntman when you are this damn fed? Someone out there take notes, because those trick falls are doing a hell of a lot of damage right now.
Maybe?
Jazza, pretty low. That's a hook over the wall for Bang Alter, and it's into the dredge line as well. X does not mark the spot quite yet. That petrifying gaze goes very wide. Now Cliff is in trouble, gets feared beyond death. They went for the engage. They get punished. 5th kill to Lucas Bang Alter.
I think what happened there was a stun came down onto upcoming Uzi while he was trying to ult flash. So he gets the ult out, but then can't press his flash key. Either that or he chose not to press it and because he thought the fight was going wrong. Either way, this is what happens when you fight front to back with an Urgot. Your front line is so much more vulnerable. You don't get to fight around those low HP bars. Get through to your next shield. Heal if you're Maokai too. You just end up dying.
Cliff goes down for the 3rd time this game. He's been having a bit of a rough one, and Urgot gratefully gets that kill. Big news still, a 4v5. Cliff is on his way back, but Jaded's still hunting, and that Umbral Glaive earlier as well has meant that vision has been in very short supply for Deja Vu Academy.
This is one of the things about solo lane Pyke again. He's not meant to be the person doing all the damage. He's meant to be the person cleaning up. He just turns up by roaming so quickly, much like your Pikes, your Gallios, but not having that global warning system of there is an eye above my head, TF's coming down. He can just come in with a, and now he has a Yomu's too. He's going to have Swifties, Yomu's active, and he's just going to run around the map at light speed.
Okay, Bang Alter gets time on this town. The Fox have picked up another plate or two there before upcoming Uzi can come down and secure a little bit more. Cassio looking pretty good thus far. 5 stacks on that Dark Seal. And a little ways off Seraph's right now.
About 2/3. Jaded using that move speed.
Oh my days, he gets the bonus cure onto Wilder, who's very low. Phantom Undertow comes out, stuns up Jazza. Here comes Cliff. It is a 3v3 right now, but waits to Salty Sam. It's here. There is a teleport on Lucas Bang Alter, who may need to use it. It's here. Sivir is going to try and come in. The teleport coming to mid lane tower is where it is. As Jazza goes in, Salty Sam goes the other way though. Rift Herald is secured by Little Cloud. The death from below come through. X marked the spot that time, but it will be traded back around onto Salty Sam. That was a shutdown. A Little Cloud caught in a different spot. Bang Alter as well is going to walk forward. It's a double kill for Sivir. Managed to walk up in time. Current stack by Little Cloud. It means nothing else. Jaded will not manage to secure the Phantom Hunter. Was out. But here comes upcoming Uzi. He was around that Bang Alter was across the wall. He's like, thank you so much. I needed to stack this anyway. Hasn't got ult, but the flash, petrifying gaze, and the poison does enough of the work. Cassio trying to survive. Little Cloud so low, trying to escape from Trundle. Will not manage to secure it. Teleport out with the Rift Herald bonus, and the Cassio gets out as well.
It's not just Jaded doing his own stunts, he's doing everyone else's stunts too! The bone skewer manages to pull away the person on top of Cassiopeia just in time for it to run it the other way and channel that recall because she picked up the empowered recall from the Herald!
Oh my days, what is this game? Still about a 3,000 gold lead, nothing has shifted, it's been very close in these team fights. Pike and the rest of the squad going to try and run down, but I'm not sure Cliff really wants to be here right now. Lucas in the front line, getting out as many of those shotgun needs as he can, but Wilder goes down, was so damn low. There is Pike's ult. Death from below as well, and look at all these treasure chests he's finding. It's Drake secured, it's kills secured, it is 4 for none, and that fight worked out so much well. It is over 5,500 gold shed by Pike this game.
Is doing everything, and it is, of course, being backed up and facilitated by his team too, not just the one-man show. Cliff knows he is in danger every time he walks up, but he has had the presence of mind and the spacing between his team members to know that even if he is caught by the fear beyond death, he's not making things into a multi-team fear by the Urgot.
Yes.
Sir Salty Sam knows he is safe in his own right to go in and finish off the kill at the start of that dragon fight too. And of course, all throughout all of this Cassiopeia has gone deathless so far. It's been a bloody game.
She has. She's now got 9 seals on that dark, or 9 stacks on that dark seal. They got a double turret Rift Herald charge, which is
normally
huge
that's
as
reserved
well.
for Tristigs.
And suddenly, it's 9,000 gold in the favour of Horizon Light right now. After that sequence of plays, it was neck and neck for so long. That play broke open the Goldie hugely in favour of Horizon Light.
It does, and I guess we should click
3
over.
items on Pike.
We should. It's the Edge of Night, which is really important too. It means that the first Zenith Blade or the Solar Flare can't catch him out. The extra HP goes towards damage for Pike too. Of course, he can't build up HP on himself. He has very high base HP. So does Salty Sam, but he shouldn't be there like
He should
this.
not be there. He gets some healing with Sap Magic. That's a Petrifying Gaze under turret, but that is the Fear Beyond Death that landed onto the Cassio, not onto Maokai, but he still goes down. Victor secures that kill. Depth now on the
Pike is
Jazza.
fishing.
Pike is fishing, but he's not going to be there quite yet. I believe he just wandered over a vision. We'll clear that out with the Umbral Glaive. It'll be a 1 for none, and that's a decent pick, and it's onto Van Offel again, which is huge.
As soon as that Fear Beyond Death missed, and we saw the next Sap Magic passive come through, I was like, okay, maybe something interesting is happening here. It is just a clean pick for Deja Vu Academy. This is how they can claw back this game. It looks insurmountable when you have a 10,000 gold deficit.
Oh, he misses, he's stunned up,
lands.
that's a massive amount of damage. The death rate is huge. Big.
Oh no!
Execute onto Team Andrew.
Okay, alright, okay. Whew, I was hoping. Oh man, that could have been absolute nightmare fuel for the side of DVA.
My dear, the safeguard there was clutch from Lee Sin to keep his Nautilus alive. 6th death of the game for. Oh my god, that's a fast Pike. Never mind, we'll have to leave it a moment. That will be the shield off over the Victor, who just gets eviscerated. Now Jazza does a lot of damage with the back end of the Chaos Storm there, which does secure a shutdown onto the Pike, who was kind of stuck there in all that damage with the Shield of Daybreak, I believe.
They will take the extra 800 gold into pocket because, of course, Jade has been dishing out so much of the dollar to his teammates. Mid laners are traded with 2 minutes on Dragon, and not really willing to start up a Baron at this point in the game. No real objectives to be fought over, though, with those bodies on the floor.
It feels like Drowning Pool, indeed. What comes after 1?
By the way, guys, there is a the Bodies Hit the Floor song, wonderful cover of it called "I Can Only Count to 4."
It's free.
Yep, just go Google it. If we got any downtime in this game, go find it. Tell them we sent you. No, just go watch it.
Just go and watch it. It was like people have not been counting the amount of teleports and bodies around for sure, because teammates can only count to 4 and missing the 5th man a lot in this game. 11, 4 and 4 is the Pike, but on the other side, Victor just got himself to Lichbane, as not as far behind as the game as you'd like. He's definitely strong, can blow people up, but that is a Ryalize and a Serap's in for Cassiopeia, who is also very strong in this game.
Absolutely is. So, we have ourselves Calm Before the Storm. We are waiting for the next dragon, of course. It is an Infernal Rift.
It is.
And we have 2 dragons.
Just what Pike wants.
That's what Pike wants, of course, because his Execute Threshold scales with his adaptive stats. And with the amount of lethality he's got and the amount of AD, that will be increasing the threat even more so.
Okay, Jade is still hunting. Has got himself a Ghost Blade and, of course, an Umbral Glaive. Bless you, buddy. Lucas Van Alter getting flash kicked away. The Sonic Wave misses, though, and this is still a pretty scary Urgot, but he hasn't got enough stats right now. But that Branch Line missing is a bit unfortunate. Sonic Wave does land that time. Still got a death from below that isn't required. On the other side, though, Deja Vu Academy are deciding to try and
they won't finish this quick enough.
They might not, and actually there's a teleport now coming in from Maokai. Upcoming Uzi going around. They are going to have to back away. They will not find their way in. Salty Sam scouts out that the Baron isn't going down anymore, and the side of Horizon Light will back off to the Infernal Drake. They get themselves to Infernal Soul Point. Good lord, my conflagration of points gets a little bit too much there.
In another situation, that would have been a teleport just for the start of the Baron for DVA. Because they lose that bot lane, it's a kill, and now Wilder gets caught.
He doesn't die quite yet, but the death from below certainly does it. And more buried treasure find flash out from both members, because here comes the remainder. Oh, Deja Vu Academy, but the petrifying gaze turns them all to stone. They chase too hard, too deep, and it might not be a Balrog, but an undead pirate will do just as well. Lucas Bang Alter has got himself in. He's got a fear beyond death to think about working with here, but now they're being run down. The poison stacks from upcoming Uzi is massive. Little Cloud does not survive. Fear is big, but the Phantom Undertow is just as big, and they will get the 2-for-1 at the end of that as well.
Oh, snakes. Why is it always snakes? He's still not been killed this game. 2 items with a Seraphs included on top of that Rylai's, and this is looking like the victory that will seal Division 2 placement for Horizon Light. They will do it without losing a single game in this division.
It would be a hell of a story. They are 12,000 gold up. They have a Pike that is so monolithically fed he can go basically 1v5, it feels like, until he gets caught gravity. That will be a GA picked up completely straight. He hasn't upgraded the Tiamat yet, and I can understand that. It's not that important right now. I wonder what he goes towards. Ravenous, maybe, for a little bit more healing as the last item.
Right. Well, of course, you just have to upgrade that Tiamat, right? Yeah.
That's what he's got left.
No, it's the higher AD variant of that. Of course, you do have a lot of HP as Pike, but if you went for the Titanic, you need to build a lot of extra HP to get real good value out of that. Of course, it is actually a true auto reset for your Halo Blades. So I don't know whether people have tried around with that kind of tech. We still expect the Ravenous Hydra, though, just it gives you a lot more AoE damage too, just around you without having to channel that auto attack. He's going to be in the top lane.
Jazza. This could be problematic. Wilder as well is a little bit deep. He's got to find his way back in. He has got himself a turret down. But now that Trundle's in trouble.
Oh, no!
Death comes in. He gets blast planted over. Death from below won't secure the kill because Little Cloud does it for him. But that's still
got the reset.
Got the reset. Goes straight through. And more gold coming out. 2 dead, Jungler dead. It is 3 versus 5, and Deja Vu Academy have got a Hail Mary and a lot of praying to do if they want to try and find a way onto this Baron.
This goes down quick because there's the full mana Cassio here with the number of items. It's going down very, very quick. They are still looking for it. And actually Cloud jumps out the pit.
I'm not sure he wanted that. He's going to go low, but he does not fall. Had to smite early, though. It's not going to matter, though, as, of course, Van Offel doesn't secure the kill. Jaded now in a spot of remember, he's still got the G8. Can be a little bit more fearless, stepping towards the likes of this Urgot, who disdains his way across the lane. Baron is secured. 2 minutes to Infernal Drake. And Deja Vu Academy, you are running out of time. In fact, I think that clock might have stopped already.
Well, I've done. This is Infernal Soul Point. They have themselves a Baron buff, which will overlap with the next spawn. 2 have a minute overlap after that. Though, that's an Urgot ult which lands onto Lee Sin, but he's not quite low enough to be pulled back.
Surely he is, but level 2 Urgot ult not quite enough. Doesn't have the items to increase that threshold either, and I guess to survive. Alright, this is it. We've got to remember that Horizon Lights does not siege all that well as terms of the roster, but here comes the flash, engage, Jazza into the backline, but goes down straight away, but Death from below eviscerates half the HP bar, but Little Cloud now falls as well. It's a 1-for-1. Not for long though, as Pike secures a second kill onto Wilder. Support and Jungler dead. Again, Lucas Bang Alter and Z-Man Jr. trying to survive alive, but the Death from below will not secure that final kill, but a bone secure does. GA comes out, and that is another kill secured. They're going to secure Inhibitor as well, and perhaps back away and reset as this Infernal Dragon and Infernal Soul will be on the table in about a minute's time.
And if that gold lead was not big enough before, another set of cuts comes in from the Pike Ultimate, and they are at a 17,000 gold.
That is unholy strong.
Pike is one hell of a drug.
And he sold boots. He was thinking about something there. He sold the Tiamat.
He sold the Tiamat to get a Death Dance, and I think that's more than fair.
Doesn't need a wave clear right now.
I maybe would have sold the GA instead to do that if he could have got Ravenous Hydra too. Either way, that is what he's got himself some extra resists, and being a melee champion as opposed to Urgot is unfortunately classified as a ranged champion. He gets the full value out of that item. 30 seconds now until the dragon, which would be an Infernal Soul, comes up for Horizon Light, and with Inhib down in the mid lane, maybe DVA want to leave someone to wave play too.
Salty Sam step forward. Subjugate is not up, so will not be popped onto Maokai, and that was the best face check they could do right now. Is a single Q lands from Cassiopeia, and the health bar just starts disappearing from Wally. It will be a teleport in, but he's going to end up onto a Miasma, and more of that burn comes through. But the Leandries is complete for Cassio as well. So even if you get a hold of this Pike, you've still got to deal with the vast Cassio damage. Flash in, but that Death Blow misses. That's huge. Solar Flare now onto Salty Sam, a little class Glaze Wilder. Execute onto Cassio, and Lucas gets a full team fear, but Jada still gets the Phantom Undertow there. Got falls as well. Little Cloud on the other side goes down as well. It's a 2 for 2 right now. Jazza is going to get secured by the Pike, and now with Van Offel with no health bar to think of, Ghostblade running, Jaden stepping forward, flash for the post gear goes wild. Now Jaden's in trouble. He's got Death Dance, but not a lot else. He goes down to Sivir. That is massive. 3 for 3 double carries alive, and there is no jungler for either side.
Teleport to the base once again.
That's just going to be Salty Sam going to try and force people back, but Z-Man Jr. will force the Infernal Drake. Stop Salty Sam. There's just the one next to us. Remember that Demolish block does massive work for Flying. Subjugate is up, but that's massive. Sap Magic healing in response with the use of the Spirit Visage. Van Offel is back, hasn't burned his teleport, and this will stop the Infernal Soul as well. It's a big win there for Deja Vu Academy, or at least a last gasp that isn't game ending.
And we've used a couple of words a number of times throughout this series, and 2 which do come to mind again: discipline and desperation. The discipline of Horizon Light, which they'd shown throughout this game, was not present in that fight. We saw Jaded once again just overreaching. He's the person with the huge shutdown, and he needs to play respectfully in regards to it. Gold onto a Pike at full items just doesn't matter. Whereas if you're giving over to a Sivir who's so far behind, a Victor that's behind too, it does mean a lot in these late game fights. And then the desperation attempt from DVA finally works out. They managed to keep their cool. This time, they're left once again with that last chance.
See, Cassio finally went down. Lucas Bang altered, got the fear beyond death, got a massive 4-man fear as well.
By the way,
oh good lord, it's 10,000 gold up for Jaded right now. It's not even like Victor has been doing badly, but 10,000 gold individually for Pike.
Me with a rusty spanner, that's absolutely insane. He's just got into he's got into practice tool and clicked the money button twice.
Yeah. Triple X marks the spot, it turns out, as the bleep comes through from Naira, but goes, holy that is a lot of damage.
Absolutely, this is Sam. Actually, I think he might have just broken my stream deck for a second. No. So you leave it to me, brother.
I knew what I was doing. I hit the right button there.
So we're left once again with the status quo. Another dragon coming up, but not nearly soon enough for Horizon Light's liking. They're grouped in the top lane. Oh man, Clifton has to flash away.
Jaded actually in a bit of a bother here as well. But remember, this is a Pike. He's pretty able to find his way out of danger. And for all that we're speaking about, that it's still a massive gold lead right now. It is still a huge amount of just map pressure right now. 7 turrets to 1. As actually Cliff gets caught in places, he takes a lot of damage, goes straight down to Trundle. But now it's a route on to this Leona who stays alive. The Solar Side lands on to Cassio, but not much more falls down. And that's another kill onto the Nautilus. And the more of these keep happening, the later this game goes, the less Pike meets.
And we can see the value of Pillar, see the value of Pillar into other CC. Leona picks off her opposing member in that Nautilus, down in that support role, but it's only the first of the game. 1 and 8 for Leona, not been easy, not nearly tanky enough to really survive through the team fights, particularly when Jaded has just so much gold, but he's not getting any stronger now. The rest of the team may well do. Of course, Cassiopeia scales ridiculously well too, but they need to close out this game. We saw this in game 2. They had a large lead. It did not come easily to them, though, that Nexus destruction. And that might be a glimmer of hope for Deja Vu.
Jada's GA is back up right now, and that could be very significant. It's mattered in the last few team fights where Jada goes in, but he's still squishy. Still a Pike. Does go down.
He does have
with the
GA backup now.
That's what I was saying. I mentioned
Sorry.
that. That's what I was
Sorry.
talking about it for.
See,
You were checking the mini-map.
I have to wonder. I need to wonder about the more important musings of the world, which
Yes.
unfortunately does not include shouting at video games. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Gotta ruminate on things like Aria. That's what it is. But Cassiopeia and damage will mean that this Baron is going down pretty fast. But here comes Wilder and the rest of Deja Vu Academy. They're going to try and turn around the teleport coming in as well. Z-Man Runa gets rooted, goes down! The Sivir is dead before the fight can even commence. It'll be a second kill onto the Trundle as well. There'll be a death from below that does not have to come through on the last one, but where upcoming Uzi goes golden inside the Chaos Storm to wait it out, and Jazza does not go down to that final death from below, but Little Cloud secures it, and it's only Lucas Bang Alter against the world. They'll move back towards this Baron. They'll look to secure it. They'll look to push to end. Hell, I think they could maybe have looked to end regardless. Just go get that inhibitor. That Nexus turret's on no AP, remember.
But there's no mana on Cass. This is not going down as quickly as they would have liked. And that means that maybe they're slower to reset for this Dragon Ash. No, with 50 seconds left, you assume they will be there. I reckon they could have ended off that with the death timers. There was, remember, the later the game goes, the faster minions move down the lane too. There was an open inhib in the mid lane. They choose to go for the objectives, try and secure themselves this insurmountable lead we do talk about. They've reset with the gold. There is more items onto the amassed members of Horizon Light, particularly Sin stuck at, well, has a number of items now, and he's been doing a really good job of holding the backline accountable, particularly Z-Man, who got caught out at the start of that fight. And now they have that goal to fight this next dragon.
And credit to Lucas as well there. He shoved out the mid wave as soon as he knew that fight was lost. Went, gotta get this wave shoved up so they can't just shove down the mid lane and get the inhibitor down as well. Jade is hunting again. He's going to find Wilder, possibly, but has to back away. He's actually looking for Lucas here. He knows he's the big threat, but actually it's going to be a bit of a risk. Phantom Undertow does land. Here comes the rest of Horizon Light. They want the top laner, and they want him now. Little Cloud goes in. Stopwatch is burned, but that is a well-timed death from below. X marks the spot for the 24th time this game, and he is dead. It is a 5 versus 4. Jaded marauding behind the dragon pit here. It's just going to try and buy time. Try and keep people down. He's going to bone secure Wilder towards the Infernal Drake, but they still secure it. They have Infernal Soul. The Chaos Storm is huge, but they still get the kill on the Trundle. But now over the wall goes to Salty Sound. Little Cloud is here as well. Death Rays Sting with 3 items on Victor, but it's still not enough. Infernal Soul secured. Red buff secured by Little Cloud as well. And with 2 members still dead, Wilder, importantly, dead for 30 seconds of note, means they'll at least secure an inhibitor here. They have Baron. They're going to try and end.
And this is the thing. When you go for objective steals like that, the reason you don't see so many of them is because it can just end the game. Can they defend with 3 people?
It's 39 kills to 20. That is 49 kills. 35 minutes. It's 1 Nexus turret remaining. Little Cloud got stunned in space. That was a fantastic spell shield, but Z-Man Jr. getting away. The Disdain gets onto Little Cloud, but the Nexus is exposed, and it'll be Jaded's damage with the help of a few of his team members that finally secured the game. And Horizon Light 3-0 the Division 3 finals. They will go undefeated in Split 3, and they'll be moving up to Division 2.
There will be no dying of the light. There is a line on the horizon, and it is this team which go 3-0. Well deserved.
Well, would you look at that? 24, 5 and 9. It's what you can do on Pikes if you get rolling, and Jaded, I think, got rolling that game.
And I think it's fair to say we have a player of the series. It would have to go over Jaded.
Probably.
He had maybe a bit of an awkward game too.
Yep.
Maybe not as...
Upcoming Uzi got a good shout in there.
Yeah, Upcoming Uzi would be the second choice, but just how explosive he was in that last game, being the fulcrum, the turning point, everything that his team revolved around, I think Jaded is very much deserved of that.
Quick glance at some of these damage numbers as well. Always a fun opportunity. And actually, you can see that Sivir and Victor, and honestly Urgot in those late games, were putting out a fair amount of damage. Problem is, they were getting executed long before that, and that became problematic.
Absolutely did, because it depends where that damage is coming in, and what it actually leads to in team fights and objectives, because Horizon Light, while they did stumble in Game 2 and 3 in the late game, they were largely on the same page more than DVA. DVA struggled to have that same coherence that Horizon Light did, and Horizon Light, through this incredible team fighting and individual play, managed to complete themselves an undefeated split.
They do, and we're moving up to Division 2, and of course we'll be getting the whole of Horizon Light. The whole of Horizon Light in for an interview here to celebrate their victory and to get some thoughts from the team in this situation.
I believe they are just crowding the interview waiting room right now, and we will wait until they are all available until we bring them in here. So, Blaze, honestly, whenever you're ready, dude,
bring them in. And until that time, we can just keep chatting because we kind of saw actually early on, like, oh man, Victor getting some items. Will it be?
Sorry, Victor getting items with what?
Just saying he will. Was he going to pull off another one of those crazy late game victories again? Or try to, I suppose. He didn't quite manage it in game 2.
There were a couple of times when the gravity field really stumped Jaded, and we know that Kike is a champion that can be taken off the rails if he's CC'd in place long enough, but then he just got too much damage. He was executing people, using that to keep jumping around team fights, and he did that while his team was already winning the rest of the fight too, that it was just never really under threat.
Yeah, I apparently think. And like, it still comes out to victory. It was harder fought than perhaps people might have expected. Of course, this was the top two teams. No. This is the regular season, but
this is one of the closer 3-0s that I've seen.
Absolutely. First game was a stomp. This game got snowballed very heavily, but you could still see there was some playmaking, some options. You could see what they were trying to do, and Van Offel's Victor, for example, definitely pretty terrifying. Doing some pretty good work in both the games he got a hold of that.
Yeah. So once again, just waiting for the victorious team, and yeah, what a split they've had. Absolutely. I think they came in with a strong pick and ban phase. I think in game 1, showing that on blue side they could pick away the Shen and then force away. Well, I mean they banned it for the rest of the series on the red side, but they were winning draft on both sides. And well, I think it's time to get them in and talk about the series.
Indeed, it is. Bring them on in, British, and we'll start talking about this game and this victory as they move on to Division 2.
So wait for everyone to come into the... God damn, there's a lot of you.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's a whole lot of Horizon Light.
Let's go!
We need to pull Tom in as well. We need to
get Tom in.
Okay, so welcome guys, welcome one and all. I guess first things first, what's the initial reaction to this 3-0 victory?
Easy game.
Easy game.
Yeah,
easy game, easy
games were definitely not close. I was definitely not worried at all, you know?
Absolutely not. I think, actually, okay, let's hop on that a little bit. So in game 2, 50 minutes. There was a point where you guys had a pretty sizable gold lead, and then things started to slip away a little bit. We saw that maybe some damage wasn't coming out where it needed to come out, and Van Offel made things a little bit awkward on his Victor. How did you guys recover from that situation? What was the communication like around the late game fights?
Basically, we knew that, like, if we could get Zach to, like, not even, like, kill him, just to get, like, on the back line, we could front to back and win. Yeah. So we just kind of, like, went off that. And then we were like, do you want a back door? Yeah. And then we back door, you know?
And then the back door comes through. And, like, obviously, you know, particularly upcoming UZ in that game, doing a lot of work on the Ezreal. Like, hadn't died for ages in that game. Finally falls, and suddenly, like, hang on. They've got to Ocean Soul Point. Hang on, they got a Baron. Was there a point in that game where you're thinking, actually, are we going to lose this?
Yeah, if they got Soul...
I mean, yeah. I think
if Uzi didn't steal the tree,
yeah, huge part of that game.
Yeah. That game was a tree or Uzi, not gonna lie.
However, it's moments like that which can create a bit of a storyline for you guys, and I believe this was an undefeated split for you guys. How the hell did you manage that?
We're just too good.
What's the plans moving on to Division 2 with it as well? Like, are you guys planning to go undefeated in Division 2 as well?
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, I think we definitely can, for sure.
Well, I already did that.
Ooh, there we go. He knows.
I mean, yeah, Cloud got reverse swept in Div 2 finals last split, and I won Div 2 the split before, so I think we should be able to do it.
Lots of different storylines then. I guess it'd be interesting for me to hear about how you guys go about planning out the draft phase too, because we know it was quite obvious what Deja Vu were planning to do in terms of, we'll try and do some disengage comps. We got a Ornn, we got an Orianna. How did you guys start? Well, how do you guys communicate in picks and bans first? Is it more of a communal effort? Is there one person leading these kind of communications?
It's mostly our coaches, like most of the time. Like Tom was game 1 and game 2, and then game 3 we had Ruben as well, or Trul.
Great coaches.
The credit for the draft prep goes to Ruben, but today I took over game 2 and 1 because Ruben wasn't here. But then Ruben joined us for the last one, like Miffy said, and I think the Shen was like a massive part of the.
Yeah, I was very impressed by the takeaway in game 1 and then split against the jungle. Very, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Miffy did a really good job of putting in the time to learn that, so we were able to draft around it. So, and he actually came up huge on it as well. I think he played really well on the Shen.
Talk us a little bit about the decision in the final game as well to sub in Little Cloud, to have Mithy step back. What was kind of the call on that one about?
It's kind of a funny story. I can't, after game 3 usually, after game 2, my sister comes in my room and tells me I can't talk anymore because I have a nephew that's like 6 years old. Normally.
He gets ganked by parents, you know?
Yeah, he gets
So in the deciding game that could take you through to Division 2 to get that undefeated split, you have to get subbed out to your parents. That's beautiful timing. That's about as bedroom League of Legends as it gets.
No, I was actually very impressed by the synergy you guys had with Cloud coming in. I think a lot of that came from mid lane. Game 3, Jaded. Oh, baby. Pike. How did that work out? Where was your ideas for that? How long have you been practicing this for?
Like, honestly, like, on and off, ages, but people just don't let me play it, dude. Mr. Ruben, you know? Like,
Can I throw a question to you guys about a bit of a quiz question here? How far ahead individually do you think Jaded was of his lane opponent?
I think it was like 2K.
I know it, I'm not gonna say
yeah,
it.
I saw the stats, so I'm not gonna speak.
Was it like 6K? 6K?
You might want
more than that.
We are down at least 4,000.
You need to double that. He was 12,000 gold up on Vanoffel. But yeah, we opened up the gold sometime where close to the top lane inhibitor fight, the top lane in the turret. We thought he's gone into training mode and clicked the gold button twice. That's what he's done. He's got 20,000 gold.
Dude, Pike literally prints off money, dude. I don't know. It's like, it's insane.
Yeah. Absolutely does. And also, I think one thing which is really important, and actually something which we think that Deja Vu did, recognizing the second round of bans in that third game, was the fact that the cast could go bot to allow you to play something like an AD Assassin mid. Of course, your Talon was taken off the table. How much has this flexibility allowed you guys to really change what you do in a game?
I think they knew the Cassiopeia was going to go bot, because Jaded doesn't play it at all.
Right. So it's just it was the flex.
You know? Yeah.
I think
it was the fake flex, you know?
The Shen is a really good flex because like it's really good top lane as well, obviously.
Yeah, the Shen was the big one that we could flex, and we have done that before. So.
My voice is dying.
Same, we had to shout for like 2 hours, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. We try to keep the fans entertained.
I've had a sore throat for 2 days, that's why.
I suppose like Cliff and Salty Sam in that last game as well. Things got getting a little bit nervous when Lucas Bang Alter was starting to be able to get some scary chunks onto the two of you in the front line. What were your kind of thoughts thinking, like, how were you planning on dealing with the third got, which was becoming a problem?
I mean, I flash predicted his ult at one point, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, that was true. That was some nice stuff.
We also saw the Lee Sin Superman follow the Q to block, also the ult coming through onto the Cassiopeia. There was a lot of cool plays coming through. And speaking of those cool plays, do you guys have any like particular moments where you guys kind of thought, okay, we've won this. We're definitely just playing better today. Was there any moment where you thought, okay, this is done?
Dude, when I hit the 3-man flash taunt, I was in.
It was pretty nice.
I was like, I'm the best player alive right now.
And then we subbed them out.
So we'll see you in Shanghai for Worlds.
Obviously, on the other side as well, we saw a lot of roster shifts for Deja Vu Academy. Do you think it helped them or hindered them in this?
I don't think it made much of a difference, to be fair. I think if they had Autumn left like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think they would have had a better chance to beat us. But yeah, I don't know if they really had much of a chance to win. I think they didn't have much time to practice either. But
honestly, the game 3, I think they just subbed in Jazza and Zimans to give them a game in finals, because Jazza, for example, played the whole split, and if he was gonna get no games in finals, I would have felt bad.
Yeah. There is certainly that too, and of course also being 0-2 down against a team which has been so dominant throughout this whole split, maybe it is just the Hail Mary. Of course, you guys didn't need any of those Hail Marys. You were pretty much in control the entire series. I guess Sam's already asked what's up next for you guys, but do you have any like moments throughout the split you want to recount? Any team members you really want to praise? I know they're all in here right now. You can gush a bit.
I mean, I think...
We'll flame them. Do that too. It'll be on stream.
I think think we got a big up split MVP Elio upcoming this year.
Sure.
Carried us for most of this split. I think collectively we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think we should bench Jaded. He's every game.
I hear there's this really good mid laner called Nomura who's hanging around.
I'm not sure if he meets the elo discrepancies. I think he's down in iron, so I wouldn't recommend it.
If he's a member needed, I'll allow it.
Well, thankfully, I've heard of this pyramid scheme, and I've been told this is my first down parent. I saw the Ari hover, and I'm like, okay, so that's my first parent. And then...
Don't encourage him, guys. His ego's big enough as it is. I'm having to sit on the other side of the room to give it space. But,
I think it's very difficult when we're using the same mic.
For now, one last question, I suppose, from us as well is, obviously, we've said, we were kind of joking a little bit about your plans for Division 2 and to run over that one too, but actually, what are your plans for Division 2? Any teams you're looking at and saying, yeah, that's the team we want to be?
If Sacramento win finals, we have to get them.
We have to get the payback.
Oh, yeah, that
Well,
was cool. Well, of course. And of course, we cast that series.
We did!
Oh man, those
We'll have to
were
get you
days.
back for that one then.
Yeah, there's lots of storylines there. I mean, this is the kind of
bring
thing.
the popcorn.
No, of course, we don't get to cast every team every time. There's a lot of teams in Advanced League. Of course, we covered Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys a fair amount this year, because we've only been casting for this year. You guys have kept things rather entertaining. Will say, got a little bit tilted when I saw Ezreal not auto-attacking for most of the defense in Game 2. Gonna throw that one out there. But then the Dragon still came in, I'm like, okay, fine, you win some, you lose some. That was great.
It's content. It's just for content.
I recommend going back and looking at that clip because I needed to actually order in a second color caster because he was just done.
No, that was game. Wait, which one?
No, that was Game 3 as well.
That was
When
Game
it turned
3
into a
when,
massive bloodbath when it was 5 for 5.
It's when Jaden was hunting for the Panther, and then you died at Herald, and then Z-Man walked in and kind of just ran it down. That was that gave me vibes of Renegades versus Dignitas season 5 and 8.
Dude, Uzi told me to go for it, dude. Like.
So what we're saying is
that's
it's
the
all
real
Uzi's
play.
fault.
Okay.
Ah, right,
Yeah.
Uzi's fault. Gotcha.
Alright.
The stream knows now.
Yeah.
I think with that, ladies and gents, is there anything else you all would like to say? You're on stream, you've got some final thoughts to share?
Broadcast appropriate.
Yeah, again, don't get us all flamed. We'd like to stay on Twitch, please.
Can OPM please win on Thursday? We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, I want to play against OPN. They are my old team.
No, OPM need to win.
Yeah. Get back to the buns.
A little bit of a split call there. OPM win, OPM not win. A little bit of division in the team. I'll have to find out how that goes. Keep your eyes peeled on the Thursday to see how that one goes. Of course. Any other final thoughts, guys, before we sign off for the night?
Not really. I don't know.
Head empty, completely brain dead at this point. Guess that's why you end up with Pike.
I got something to say.
Go on then, man.
I want to thank Cliff for giving me the option to join the team halfway through the split when I was already in a team.
Just before fight in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice to hear the kind words going out to teammates there. Cheers to Cliff from Cloud. But I think with that, congratulations again to Horizon Light, who are your Division 3 champions, completely undefeated in this split. But from them, from Deja Vu, from myself, from Nightmare, and the rest of the Valence League broadcast crew, we bid you good night. We'll see you on Thursday for some more Valence League action.